continues this evening with rounds 2 and 3 from Pittsburgh. Our coverage of the NFL Draft continues here on ESPN Radio. It'll get underway at 6 Eastern. Coverage of the draft can also be seen on ESPN and ABC. The NBA playoffs resume tonight with 3 games on the schedule. First, Boston and Philadelphia with that series tied at a game apiece. Joel Embiid is doubtful for the 76ers. He is continuing to recover from an appendectomy. Also, the Lakers take on the Rockets in Houston with a 2-0 series lead. And ESPN's Kendrick Perkins says Lakers coach J.J. Redick is a big reason why L.A. is leading the series.
We got to give a lot of flowers to J.J. Redick because he deserved every bit of it, right? When you talk about putting together a game plan, when you talk about empowering the role players and others to elevate their game.
Also tonight, it'll be the Spurs visiting the Blazers. That series tied at a game apiece. Stanley Cup playoffs, 3 series at tied a game apiece resume tonight. Lightning and Canadiens, Golden Knights at Mammoth, Oilers at Ducks. Basketball, Kansas freshman Darren Peterson says he will enter the NBA draft.
When I want that big birthday energy, I grab Confetti Craze 5-Hour Energy. It's Vanilla E, buttery cake flavor without the sugar, and it's easy to take anywhere. The Funfetti flavor is back on 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. Crack open a Confetti Craze 5-Hour Energy shot today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We are live from the Zurich Classic here at 17, the walk-ons tent, and fired up to be back. It's where we are, the Friday of Zurich, the Friday of the NFL Draft every year, and LSU State. They're about to have first pitch of Game 1. We got the Zurich Round 2 going on right now. Round 2 of the NFL Draft set in about 3 hours from right now. We have a ton to do, so let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
But would they trade up? Would they stay put? What position would it be? We didn't have to wait very long as it was a swift-moving first round, but it sounded like this when the Saints were on the clock at number 8.
With the 8th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Jordyn Tyson, wide receiver, Arizona State.
So the betting favorite to be the Saints pick at 8 was the Saints pick at 8. It is, in fact, Jordyn Tyson. And it was fascinating to watch how that top 10 started to materialize, where the Cardinals at 3, of course, it was a 50-50 proposition seemingly with the edge rushers at 2, with Bailey and with Reese. But when the Cardinals stuck at 3 and chose Jeremiah Love, you know I was over the moon. It means the Saints were not being aggressive to go up and get a running back. The Titans at 4 taking Carnell Tate was a bit of a surprise. Many thought they would go defense. They got an offensive weapon to complement their first-round pick of a year ago. Obviously, their starting quarterback, Cam Ward, which meant for New Orleans, you were going to be eyeing either, very likely, Mansour Delane or Jordyn Tyson. Well, Kansas City took that option off the table for New Orleans, trading up to number 6, where they took Mansour Delane. So for the Saints, it was go with the most dynamic receiver available in the draft or find the best defensive player available. That was either going to be Bain, Reuben Bain from Miami, or Caleb Downs. And I think what the Saints did was the right call. But this is all about risk reward. Like, ask yourself this question. This is true in everything in life. If you invest in your 401k or you have your mutual funds or whatever, like whatever your retirement is, do you there's that sliding scale of, well, how risk averse are you? How risky do you want to be? Like, we all fall on a different part of that chart. Mickey Loomis, when it comes to being an NFL general manager, is more risk tolerant than many. I mean, you can look at teams that very much. Howie Roseman with the Eagles is a brilliant GM, and generally it feels like fleeces people because he does the conservative thing and gets value and gets picks and all that sort of stuff. Mickey Loomis is far more aggressive, and that suits some people's sensibilities, and it doesn't suit other sensibilities. I mean, we gave you this number a day ago. Since he's been the general manager, the Saints have traded 38 times under Loomis, 38 trades. They've traded back 4. 34 times they've gone up. So this is a risk-reward question with Jordyn Tyson. The risk is very real, and we've all talked about it. This is a guy who had ACL, MCL, PCL surgery in 2022. He's had a broken collarbone. Last year, he struggled with not 1 but 2 hamstring injuries. He's a guy who, when he's on the field, is awesome. The problem is he hasn't always been able to be on the field. Started his career at Colorado in 2022, had the knee injury, missed the entire 2023 season, popped up at Arizona State in 2024 with Sam Leavitt. That was their playoff team, and he went off. 75 catches, 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns. He's a big play waiting to happen. Athletically, you're talking about a dude at 6'2", 200 pounds who could fly, leaping ability, all of it. At his best, right, as we talk about risk-reward, if you're looking at what the reward is, the top end, you're talking about a guy that plays the position a lot like Jamar Chase. I'm not saying he's Jamar Chase. Don't go swerve off the road. What I'm saying is this is the caliber of athlete at that position that you drafted. Now, is he going to live up to that and be a true legit number? We'll see. But the risk is you have an injury-prone dude that can't stay on the field. And is it worth the 8th overall pick for a guy that's injury-prone? And so that is the question around that. The question isn't is Jordyn Tyson worthy as a receiver? Is he worthy of the 8th pick? He is. The question is, can he stay healthy, and is it worth the risk because of that? And Kellen Moore, in the post-draft press conference, was asked what made them comfortable with the injury history to take Tyson 8th overall.
I think, obviously guys are going to go through things that they have to navigate. And, for credit to him, he had to navigate a knee, clavicle, the hamstring stuff that he had this year. And he battled through it. And I think that's credit to him, is his willingness to battle. I mean, he hurts his hamstring in this, Texas Tech game, and he makes the plays to basically win the game at the end of the game. And so this guy's a really tough football player. He's battled some things, and I think all that's positive. And, he worked out through this whole process, kind of recovered, and he's in a great place.
I hate that answer, by the way, because he didn't say the thing that you wanted to hear. Because the thing that you and I wanted to hear were from Kellen Moore about Tyson is we went through the evaluation, understanding his injury history. We did the medical evaluation. We were comfortable with where he is. Like, that's what you wanted to hear. That's not what he told you there. So that he told you about how it's a good thing to go through adversity. Yeah, adversity is a great thing, but adversity doesn't fix your knee. So, again, I love the player. If you have questions about this because of the injury history, you are right to do that. Now, specifically from let's look at high-end production possibility here. Look at what your receiver room looks like. Jordyn Tyson could be a legit, true number 1 superstar game-breaking wide receiver, which this franchise has never had. You've had good receivers. You've had talented receivers. You've had productive receivers. You've never had someone that you could say is someone who a team game plans for that guy. Tyson could be that, so I love it. That also frees up Chris Olave more. You've heard me say this for years. Chris Olave is not a number 1. I think he is a very, very good number 2. He had a 1,000-yard season this year, and he did so because he was 4th in the NFL in targets. They threw the ball at him all the time because you had nobody else to throw the ball to, and so a season where he played in 17 games, you saw productivity there from Chris Olave. He's a good receiver. He's a productive receiver. He's a starting receiver. He's a 1,000-yard receiver. There's a lot of good about Olave. He ain't Jordyn Tyson, who's 6'2", 200 pounds, can fly and can jump. And when you look at the Saints, after Olave last year, your second leading pass catcher was a tight end in Juwan Johnson. Next is Rashid Shaheed, who only played 9 games for you a year ago before you traded him. He was your third leading pass catcher. Fourth was Devon Vele, who had 25 catches on the season, and then Alvin Kamara, and then Brandon Cooks, who you also cut. So the point is, like, you had a whole lot of Kevin Austin and Dante Pettis and Mason Tipton by the end of that season. You now, as you sort of project forward, you can go Jordyn Tyson, Chris Olave, and then Devon Vele, and maybe Jalen Polk, who is the number one receiver. We'll see if he's healthy. And then your tight end room. Like, you have dynamic weapons and depth around your rookie quarterback or your second-year quarterback now in Tyler Shuck. And when you look at the top offenses in the NFL, the number one offense in the NFL last year was the Rams. Well, they got Puka Nacua. The number two offense in the NFL last year was the Dallas Cowboys. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, elite-level receivers. You have to have game breakers in this NFL. So I love the pick. I love the player. I have the same questions and concerns that all of you do about the injuries. If the injury question is mitigated and Jordyn Tyson is healthy and plays in 17 games at his max ability, you got probably the best receiver in the draft, and we're all going to celebrate this for a long time. And I love the fact that the Saints decided to stay put. Now, going into day 2 and day 3 of the draft, there's a lot of other questions that we'll discuss that they got to address. But I love the player. We'll see in time if the pick makes sense because of the injury questions. All right, it's after further review. We're here at the Zurich Classic today on 17 Green at the Walk-Ons tent. Such a beautiful day here in Avondale. Man, get down to the Zurich this weekend. If you've never been, even if you don't love golf, doesn't matter. If you love golf, great. If you don't, this is a party. Like, I mean, I got Go DJ over here. I got Derek Panamsky right there. I got celebrities everywhere, like Derek Panamsky right there, just staring at me, eating a cookie. Y'all come hang out, man, at Zurich anytime this weekend. All right, it's after further review. Our show, but every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. Got my Bud Light Saints shirt on here as we rep Bud Light and the Who Dat Nation down in Avondale today at the Zurich Classic. If you're at Zurich, if you're watching the draft, of course, you notice the official beer of the draft is Bud Light. You see it on the stage everywhere. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. Okay, we got a ton we're going to get to today. LSU and Mississippi State, they're underway in Starkville. Casey Evans scratched. Gavin Guidry starting. We'll keep you posted on the game as it moves throughout. Let me knock out a break. We'll come back. We're heading to the desert next to get a perspective of someone who covers Arizona State on Jordyn Tyson and all the questions that we have. So you'll hear it from someone who knows Tyson well. We'll do that next here on AFR.
AFR.
Today's show is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time, or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Spell it out, O-N-E, 1hourbr.com. 83 degrees right now, sunny and beautiful, but 83 when the humidity hits, you start getting into the 90s. Then we start getting into the triple-digit temps. You better make sure that your AC is ready to roll for the coming warm weather months. River City's 1 Hour Air can help. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001. Call, get your preseason AC tune-up if you haven't done it yet. 752-0001, 752-0001. They'll come by the house, get that thing in tip-top shape. Make sure your AC is running efficiently for the coming warm weather months. Mention the Moscona special, they'll save you $30. It's River City's 1 Hour Air.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Yeah, it feels great. Shoot, I never stopped working, so I was cool with it. I never stopped working out, never got out of shape, never had to restart my soreness process, never had to get my feet calloused back up. So, shoot, I'm ready to hit the ground running right now.
Jordyn Tyson meeting with reporters after becoming the 8th pick of the 2026 NFL Draft of the New Orleans Saints. Guy who covered him during his time there in Tempe is Damon Allred from ArizonaSports.com. He's on Twitter at @IamDamonAllred if you want to give him a follow. Hey, Damon, we appreciate the time. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? Obviously, a big time with Jordyn Tyson coming on and joining the fold.
Yeah, I think the consensus here is everyone sees the tantalizing ability, but everybody's also worried about the injuries. So make us feel better about the injuries.
Well, so I think that the thing you should feel best about is just how fluky some of the most recent ones felt. Obviously, there were the knee issues that happened at Colorado mostly before he got to ASU. But then by the time he was at ASU, he was pretty healthy, had the broken collarbone at the end of the 2024 season that kept him out of that postseason. He would have played in the college football playoff semifinal, we just learned throughout the last week or two from Hines Ward. So it wasn't a situation where that had totally sidelined him. Like it was just going to be backbreaking for ASU. He would have been able to come back if they had pulled out that Peach Bowl against Texas. And then this past season, the nagging hamstring injury that pops up against Texas Tech on a route away from the play. So it wasn't even like a situation where, he's putting a ton of stress on the body. It's just a fluky strain on a decoy route. Finishes the game and has that heroic game-winning drive with a 33-yard pickup on 4th down among the plays. He was really impressive throughout what he did at ASU when he was on the field. Borderline unstoppable when he was available. But like you mentioned, those injuries just came at inopportune times for the team.
So let's talk about that borderline unstoppable. If I said, all right, you're rating Jordyn Tyson's traits that made him borderline unstoppable, where are you starting?
For me, it starts with the route running. He's just a very sudden guy when he gets in and out of his breaks. You saw that in the tape that kind of surfaced from that private workout he held with teams, where he is just going one way and then going another direction in a flash. And it's something that defenses really can't account for unless they're bracketing him. And obviously on a team like New Orleans, you can't bracket a guy like every single play when there's Chris Olave on the other side. Obviously some weapons in the backfield as well. So I think that he'll be able to weaponize that pretty well. Another thing that stands out to me is just his catch point ability. He has some really good hang time. That was another thing that we saw in the clips that surfaced. But then he had a go-ahead touchdown against Baylor this season where he really showed off that hang time, hung in the air and made a grab, and he's just very impressive physically. And I think that that's kind of to be expected just given what his DNA is. He's obviously got a brother who's playing pretty consistent minutes for the Cleveland Cavaliers and Jalen Tyson. And so I think that everything physically is working for him in a way where he was able to put that all together under Hines Ward and bring that pro aspect all together.
Yeah, you mentioned Hines Ward there. I'm curious how Jordyn, you felt, takes to coaching, sort of the locker room guy component of it with Jordyn Tyson. What can you tell us?
Yeah, so it's pretty easy for people to get ahead of themselves when talking about a wide receiver one. They've obviously got a bit of a reputation for being divas at times. Jordyn was not that at all under Hines Ward. He'll tell you first and foremost that the biggest thing that Hines helped him with is just building up pro habits, and he's obviously become disciplined enough to where he can reach the NFL at a top 10 level. I think that personally for me, while he will mention the pro habits first and foremost with Hines, is what stood out to me is his run blocking ability. Hines Ward was obviously a very good run blocker when he was in the NFL, and he has made that the standard in the ASU receivers room. You have to run, or you have to be able to block for the run game, or you're not going to get targets. And obviously Jordyn was able to block pretty well because then he comes out and gets 70-80% of the targets when he was healthy.
Damon Allred is with us, ArizonaSports.com at I am Damon Allred if you want to give him a follow. Damon, look, you're the 8th pick in the draft. You're obviously a really talented guy. It's why anybody's going to be a top 10 pick in the draft. What would you say, though, that maybe Jordyn Tyson needs to improve on at the next level?
So there were some drop issues previously in his career. Last year in 2024, he had 7 drops. Brought that down to 1 in 2025. So that's obviously a big improvement. You want to make sure that that's sustainable, that he's still doing everything that he needs to prepare to make catches and things like that, just putting himself in a good position. The other thing that stands out to me is just a lot of NFL experts didn't love his play against press defense. I think that he was able to work pretty well against press defense, especially in the red zone. It felt like anytime he had a one-on-one in the red zone, he was going to win that one-on-one. But I understand in more open field situations, he's maybe struggling a little bit against that physicality when defenses bring it to him. But again, when you have an offense that's coming together the way New Orleans is with multiple receivers that can hurt you, multiple running backs that can hurt you, it makes it harder for defenses to sell out to stop a guy like Jordyn.
One more thing for you, Damon. If I asked you had to look into your crystal ball and you had to project how you think Jordyn Tyson's career in New Orleans may go, like what type of pro do you think we're going to see?
Yeah, as long as he can keep the health in check, I think that he's a bona fide all-pro level receiver. I think that the comps that make the most sense for him are the guys like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, rather than the role-playing receivers. I think that if he's in the NFL for more than 5 years, it's much more likely that he's a top option rather than someone that's just settling into an offense.
He is Damon Allred, ArizonaSports.com, at I am Damon Allred on Twitter if you want to give him a follow. We appreciate it, man. Thanks so much for the time.
Thank you for having me. Always appreciate it.
Yep, it's our pleasure. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Supper Club, SupperClubBTR.com. SupperClubBTR.com is where you can get your reservation. Hey, look, it's a Friday night. If you're hanging out in Baton Rouge, you're going to be there this weekend. Get by Supper Club. I've been telling you, and I'm going to keep hammering this message because it's a very rare opportunity to go try authentic Japanese Kobe beef. You've probably heard of it. Most people probably never had it. You might be intrigued, but there ain't nowhere else you're going to get it in town, and it's not something that's a regular menu item. It's like when you can get it, you get it. And this is, I think, the second time since Supper Club has been open that they've actually gotten these slabs of true, authentic Japanese Kobe beef. about 15 pounds, 20 pounds worth of beef. As I was talking to Chef Layton a week ago, he expected it would last a week and a half, 2 weeks tops. So it's been there for a week already. My point is, if you want to try true, authentic Japanese Kobe beef, you can do it at Supper Club in Baton Rouge. Get by. Even if you don't have a reservation, remember, open seating at the bar. They got 14 bar stools, 7 bar tables, always first come, first served at the bar, or you can always get your reservation at supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review, and we're glad to have you hanging out with us here on this Friday edition of AFR. Presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar there in Town Center. Game 1 between LSU and Mississippi State is underway. Kason Evans was the scheduled starter just minutes before first pitch. LSU announced he was scratched. Gavin Guidry got the ball instead for LSU to start the game. And the Tigers, an early 3-0 lead on Mississippi State. So the Tigers put up a 3 spot in the first, which, listen, if you are going you're going into this very unenviable situation where you're facing a true legitimate ace in Valinkis from Mississippi State, who I believe is the best pitcher in the SEC right now. And you had an opportunity to give Gavin Guidry a lead with which to work. My goodness, what a way to start. So Stanfield reached on an error. Curiel doubled. Cerna, RBI single. Aaron Beatty struck out. Milam, an RBI single. And then Braun, an RBI ground out. So, and then Pearson struck out to end the inning. But the Tigers manufacture a 3 spot in the first, so a great start for LSU against Tomas Valinkis, who's, as you mentioned, I'm probably the front runner to be the SEC Pitcher of the Year. So we'll see if the Tigers can hang on. We'll keep you posted as that continues moving along. All right, it is After Further Review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here on a Friday edition of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We're at the Zurich Classic on the 17th green, the par 3. Awesome spot to watch this golf tournament as they come through. The golfers walk just to our right to the 18 tee box. So great spot, great opportunity to get by this weekend of the Zurich Classic here. Even if you just buy some GA tickets to come walk the grounds, even if you're not into golf, if you love the golf, there's plenty of golf. If you love to party, this is a great party here at the Zurich Classic, so come on down. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk to some representatives from Zurich. We will talk, we'll go around the SEC. We got to get to Mansour Delane and going 6th overall, previewing day 2 of the draft. Just a ton to do, and glad you're with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
All right, weekend is upon us, and when the weather is nice, typically we find our way out into our yards. So if you're going to be getting into the yard, the lawn, the garden this weekend, get by Clegg's Nursery, any of their 4 locations. You know where they are: Siegen Air Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. So I tell you all the time to buy local and shop local. Look, they have full greenhouses, and I always encourage you to go check out their Facebook page, their social media, because they do a great job whenever they get new shipments in at Clegg's. They post them on social media, so you'll always be up to speed with what they have in their greenhouses. Maybe you want any of the dozens of different roses that they have, the Peggy Martin roses, the knockout roses. Maybe it's any of these beautiful spring, summer flowers and plants and trees and shrubs. It's a great time to get on by Clegg's, and they have everything you need to keep the pests away as well. So buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
It's not easy to be a champion.
It's built from every swing, pitch, and game all season long. In the grind, the focus,
and in the recovery.
FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake experts provide best-in-class care for our state's world-class athletes, because it takes a champion to care for champions.
I trust the lake to keep me at my best.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
Championships are won with preparation, and so are great roofs.
Coach is tough on us about preparation, and Parrish brings that same championship mindset.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
ParrishBuilt.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you'll likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Glad to have you back with us here at Zurich Classic. We're at 17 green. Beautiful spot. Some golfers walking through right now. Molinati and Knox, Silverman and Champ walking this way. Molinati and Knox, not a bad day. They're 7 under par. And not a bad day to chat with our buddy John Diaz from Zurich International. Amazing partners here at the Zurich Classic, the title sponsor, and one of the primary reasons that this event goes on every year. How are you, sir? It's great to see you again.
It's great to see you again, Matt.
First things first, Jets go David Bailey,
Yes.
2 overall. How we feeling today?
You know, this is the best time of Jets. We get Jets derangement syndrome at this time of year where
This
we
is when
start
you can
thinking
feel
we're
great.
Super Bowl. We're at Super Bowl now, so I feel good after day 1 of the draft. I'll be a happy guy.
David Bailey, I mean, freak show pass rusher, you know?
Yeah.
You can't go wrong drafting an elite edge rusher. Jets did that. Saints, we like our guy too. Got a receiver from Arizona State, hoping it goes pretty well. So first of all, day 2, beautiful weather, which is always the fingers crossed, hold your breath, right?
Yeah.
How's it been going so far, a day and a half in?
It has been fantastic. The energy has been great. You know, our ambassadors have been out there, which we can talk about a little bit later. They've been hanging tough. The weather's been awesome. Food's been awesome. So energy all around. People are having a great time here in this awesome city.
You know, it's always so important as well, I think, for our audience and people in this community to hear from folks like you with Zurich to understand what this partnership means and why Zurich keeps coming back. So if I ask you, like, why, what does this mean for Zurich? Why you keep coming back? How do you and your team answer that?
Yeah, you know, I mean, just first you think about the city of New Orleans, right? I think it's just a place where the community lifts each other up, right? People watch each other's backs. So you think about Katrina and how everybody else came together and how people, you know, no matter what, stepped outside their zone to make sure that they took care of each other. Yeah. You know, it is like synonymous with resilience. And so, you know, for us from Zurich, we were the first major sports event to come back post-Katrina.
That's right.
Post-COVID, while we didn't hold the event, we still went through with our charitable contributions. And so, you know, for us, it's not like a side benefit coming through it. It's really the point around how we can engage with such a community and a place like New Orleans, which just has such a heart and soul that aligns so well with the Zurich values.
And well, part of that too is I know that the Stronger Together brand is how you all brand there at Zurich. Maybe would you walk us through how that mindset for the company makes sense as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And so for us, when you think about the format of this, is the only team event for the PGA Tour. So it's a really cool dynamic of how they pull it together. And so for us, like our business and underwriting, it's a team sport. sport. You need underwriters, you need claims, you need risk engineering, you need actuaries and others, and bringing it all together. And you need folks that when you're down a little bit, it picks you back up, right? And that, you have people that are, a good rhythm between each other. And so, when we think about these players in this team event, like we think about that part around how you pick each other up when it matters most, that we're in there, long-lasting partnerships that, we just watch each other's back through. And I think that as well, and that's stronger together and how we partner through with the communities as well, because that's such a big part of what we do here and why we're here.
People love numbers too.
Yeah.
Let's talk some numbers about, specifically, I think, since Katrina in 2005 and the many different ways that Zurich and the Zurich Classic has helped children's charities.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, it's we all know through the stats, right? I mean, it's about $35 million of charitable donations since we've been part for a 2-decade partnership. It helps feed about 200,000 kids annually, about $700 million economic activity. So, these are numbers that get, cemented in through our head. But again, for us, it's really just about, how we can show that we're there for the long run, right? We're there to be make that meaningful, lasting impact in through the community, and where we can help kids and really do something that just makes a difference. We were at St. Michael's School today, which I know is near to dear cause for you as well. And we watched the kids do a musical Susical today. And I mean, there wasn't a dry eye in the house watching these kids go through that. It's been a school that we've been supporting for multiple decades. And when you see the impact firsthand, and what these amazing kids do. I mean, again, like I said, I had to pretend my allergies were bothering me because I was welling up myself, but it was incredible, Matt.
That's awesome. Whenever you're putting on an event like this, I'd imagine you get pulled in a lot of directions, right? Yeah. The fans or the patrons get to come and watch golf and maybe have an adult beverage and enjoy the day. You get pulled in a lot of directions. Do you get to steal away and watch a hole or two?
You get a little here and there, right? You find your way through. But this is all about that. It's the shared experience, right? I mean, you deal with a lot of folks, and there's business and then transactions. But the most way that you break through the permafrost is usually through these shared experiences, right? And when you think about here, whether it's the golf, it's the food, it's the music, it's just the whole vibe of New Orleans. It's just the perfect setting to just deepen that relationship that extends that surface level part of it. So I honestly, I don't mind. I love it. People think I'm trying to run for mayor and others, but I just really enjoy and being in this type of city. It just makes it so much easier.
Oh man, this is a great. People say party city, but it's a great anything city.
It just is.
It is. But you all do have golf ambassadors at Zurich, right? That are playing this weekend. Yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely.
It's I know I have the list. Shane Lowry, Thigala, Ben Griffin, Billy Horschel's a Florida Gator.
Yeah.
I don't know if we like that Florida Gator and then Billy Horschel.
Don't hold it against me.
But what's it been mean to be part of with those guys? See them out here as well.
They're fantastic ambassadors in for us, and for us, obviously, they're phenomenal professionals. But when you think through from a personal, it's always getting into that deep personal side of things that makes it even better. It's you think through Shane, he's just got that authenticity and grit and just relatability aspect of it.
He definitely has that.
He does. We might see him at the turn taking down oysters and maybe a drink and a beverage right now. You got Billy out there who's just got that leadership and that fire and that accountability. You got Ben, who was a mortgage broker. He had a tough time a couple years. Came out of the game as a mortgage broker, so just that resilience and hard-earned success. Sawhif has got that kind of creativity and joy, and just really, you see that family aspect of him with his dad and others following him around. That so, it's not just wearing the logos for those guys. They really embody the values of what we see for Zurich as an organization.
You can tell there's a lot of authenticity, and it's been my pleasure to get to every year when we come, we get to chat with you and some folks who represent Zurich so well. And I always like to ask for people who are familiarizing themselves with it. They know it's obviously the title sponsor of this, but what is next? Where is Zurich going next?
Yeah, so our whole part is about how we meet tomorrow prepared. And that really is how we see ourselves through and how we can help people navigate uncertainty, emerging risk, innovation. We've got products like AI, mass timber, data center protections. And so we're just there to help people manage their future responsibly and thoughtfully. And that's what we are as an organization, and do it with communities and others that we can help make an impact in. So Matt, this has been awesome too. I always appreciate making the time.
John, it's our pleasure. Thank you so much.
Man.
John Diaz with Zurich. It's our pleasure to be here at at the Zurich Classic. Well, let me knock out a quick break, come back, and we'll wrap up hour number one. We will get, we'll do around the SEC, and also we're going to start to preview day 2 of the draft. We'll get you an update on LSU and Mississippi State as well. Stay with us here. It's AFR.
After further review.
Remember, if you're buying or selling your home, commercial or residential, call Darren James, get your home sold. Remember, it's agent225.com, agent225.com. That's where you can find Darren James's website. It's the most user-friendly website in real estate. agent225.com. Every home listed by every company all in one place. And maybe most importantly, though, that's how you'll get connected with Darren to start that process of selling your home. I told you an amazing story that there was a listener of the show, said he's listened for 11 years, was going to sell his home, hired a different realtor. Home was unsold for a year, called Darren James. The first person Darren had look at the home, bought it. Why waste time? Get your home sold fast, save time, save money, get results, and have an unbelievable experience with Darren James. Agent225.com, agent225.com for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Every Raising Cane's chicken finger is marinated, battered by hand, and cooked to order to perfection. We don't have heat lamps, because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Another roof, gone too soon. Looks like neglect. There's no doubt about it. This is a case of poor installation. At Pelican Roofing, we don't guess. We investigate to find the real cause of your roof's problems. Call Pelican Roofing for your free roof investigation today. Case closed.
Bayou Ford has the new 25 Ford F-150 Lariat truck with $12,000 off MSRP, plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
All right, wrapping up hour number one, Friday edition of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We're here at the Zurich Classic and thrilled to have you hanging out with us here on just a jam-packed day. We will get to around the SEC here in just a quick second. Just a few things kind of have to pivot. We're going to have Ross Jackson with us in 30 minutes. I'll get Ross's reaction to the Jordyn Tyson pick, but more so what I want to do with Ross is kind of get a bit of a preview of what we can expect day 2 for the New Orleans Saints. And also in about 15 minutes from right now, I do want to take some time and go deep dive into Mansour Delane, going 6 overall to the Chiefs, and what we might expect here in day 2. Nussmeier, Halsey on the board, very likely to hear their names called here today. I think that as we look at sort of projecting here in day 2, there's Jordyn Reed over at ESPN has a mock draft where he's looked at, it wasn't Reed, forgive me, it was Matt Miller, who's got a rounds 2 and 3 mock draft. So I think the most interesting part of what happens at the start of a day is, remember, round 1 ended, on Thursday night around 10 o'clock Central. We got roughly 19 hours till the draft resumes. And so over the course of those 19 hours, the team that's picking first, and in this case, it's the 49ers who have the 33rd pick that they have from the Jets. They have the whole night to look at their board, to consider who they might want to draft, to field trade calls. And as a matter of fact, there was, this was, forgive me, it was Tom Pelissero here Friday on the NFL Network, who said that the Saints are one of those teams who might be looking to make a move today.
Among other teams that are calling around not just the 33, but for other picks at the top of round 2 include the Dolphins, the Saints have made calls, the Browns, and the Jaguars, who of course did not have a pick on night 1, that had product of the Travis Hunter deal a year ago. Keep an eye on those teams.
Remember, the Saints did this a few years ago with Nick Saldiveri, the offensive lineman from Old Dominion, where they traded up at the front of day 3 and took Saldiveri, the offensive lineman from Old Dominion. They didn't want to wait, and so they knew who was there on the board. They could allow things to settle. They had time to make a deal. So when you look at what's on the board for New Orleans after having taken a receiver, are you potentially looking at cornerback like maybe Jermon McCoy, who, again, that would be another injury question player, but maybe, but for his injury issues, could have been the best defensive back in this draft. So is that someone maybe that you'd be looking for at the top of round 2? Do you move up? Do you get aggressive to do something like that? It would be interesting. But Pelissero did also talk about who teams are discussing moving up for.
In terms of who they potentially could be trading up for, let's start with a couple of guys who were the last men in the green room last night. Caden McDonald, the Ohio State defensive tackle. Not a lot of defensive tackle movement in round 1. We did see a couple come off the board, but certainly Caden McDonald is somebody that is viewed within the league as a player likely to come off in the first, let's say, 5 to 10 picks of round 2. Colton Hood, the Tennessee cornerback, also in the green room last night. That was maybe the most surprising player that did not come off the board in round 1. Again, a position where there just weren't very many corners that came off the board. Hood is a potential target as high as number 33. His college teammate Jermon McCoy, a top 10 talent who did not go in round 1 because of concerns about his knee. People within the league, executives I've spoken to, do anticipate we hear McCoy's name called at some point today. Denzel Boston, Washington wide receiver, another potential move up target.
One other thing that's fascinating, I mentioned the mock draft from Matt Miller at ESPN. He's got Emmanuel McNeill-Warren, the safety from Toledo, as the first pick of round 2, going to the Niners. And at 34, the second pick of round 2, he's got the Arizona Cardinals taking Carson Beck, the quarterback from Miami. So one thing to keep an eye on there, who teams might be coveting here at the top of round 2. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com windows, door siding. They do shutters and shades. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy efficient replacement windows. We tell you about it all the time. When you have these energy efficient replacement windows installed, this is going to help reduce those costly air leaks, making your home more energy efficient. You know, when the triple digit temps are beaten down on your windows, this will make the energy efficient windows, it will keep your home cooler, meaning your AC doesn't have to work as hard, so it'll lower your energy bills, increase your home's resale value. So this is an investment into your home. So maybe you're looking at that tax refund. What do I do with it? Well, a great idea would be to invest it into your home with energy-efficient replacement windows from Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, shutters, and shades. It's Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. All right, we are on remote, so Muse will take care of business here. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Arkansas has landed a late commitment for the class of 2026. It's offensive lineman Caden Bramlage. He announced the decision on his social media Thursday evening. 6'5", 285-pounder. Originally committed to Lamar, had offers from Oklahoma State and several other smaller schools, but now will go to Arkansas, where he projects as a guard.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
On Friday, Kentucky landed another commitment, this one from a tight end out of Lexington Christian Academy. 6'5", 235 pounds. It's Conrad Hart. Held offers from Eastern Kentucky, Western Kentucky, Toledo, Ohio, Miami of Ohio, and others. 3-star prospect in the class of 2027. Second tight end commit for Will Stein and the Wildcats. Now the 12th commitment for the 2027 cycle. They're on a bit of a roll up there in Lexington.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Some basketball portal news. The Bulldogs have landed Seton Hall transfer Taywon Simpkins from Seton Hall. He announced that decision on his social media. Averaged 9 points, 3 boards, and 2 assists per game. Where he really excelled was behind the arc, 37% from 3. He will head to Starkville.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Tennessee basketball has landed a commitment from Braden Liu, a transfer from Kennesaw State. That decision announced on Friday. A 6'9" forward visited the Vols earlier in the week and now becomes the 6th member of their transfer portal class. Averaged 10-5 a year ago in 68 career games overall. Was named all-defensive team in Conference USA as a sophomore. He has blocked 50 shots. So some good rim protection there on Rocky Top.
Texas A&M!
And lastly, a high school basketball note here. Chase Richardson, a 4-star point guard in the class of 2027, has committed to Texas A&M. He confirmed that to Rivals. 6'1", chose the Aggies over Nebraska, Notre Dame, Purdue, and Virginia. 81st ranked prospect in the 2027 class. Number 20 ranked point guard and the number 4 player in Texas for the Rivals industry rankings. There you have it. That is around the SEC.
Presented by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. They keep you coming back year after year after year because they treat you like family. Look, nobody ever wants to buy tires, but we get it. Summer's almost here. Time you're planning that family vacation. Time to buy new tires before you hit the road. Make sure you go to Shawbills. And when you buy tires at Shawbills, you get a dozen benefits. It's the Charlie's dozen. A dozen benefits extended to the vehicles in your family when you buy tires at Shawbills. That's things like free tire rotations, free tire repairs, alignments, all that sort of stuff. It's at Shawbills, where they'll sell you the best tires on the road at the cheapest price, and they'll treat you like family. Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com, Shawbills. We keep you rolling. It is 3-2 in Starkville. Excuse me, it is 4-2 now in Starkville. The Bulldogs, after LSU put up a 3-spot in the top of the first, Mississippi State hit a 2-run bomb in the bottom of the first, a walk by Guidry, then a moonshot made it 3-2. But the Tigers now, after a clean second, have come back in the top of the third, and Omar Cerna led off the top of the third with a solo homer. So it's 4-2 LSU now, and this is really stunning. Look, say it all the time, and it's cliche, I know, but baseball's a funny game, man, and you're seeing this here because, you know, Valinkis is a guy who has been dominant this year. I mean, this is an LSU offense that a week ago couldn't get going against a team that came into the weekend at home against a team that came into the weekend 13th in the SEC in staff ERA. I mean, Valinkis has a sub-2 ERA. His ERA is 1.81. I mean, in 59 2/3, he's given up just 12 earned runs. Opponents are hitting 195 against him. I mean, he's got 83 strikeouts and 13 walks. I mean, this is a dude who mid-upper 90s lefty with incredible off-speed stuff that next year, praise the sophomore, next year projects as a, maybe the first left-handed arm, college left-handed arm off the board. So for LSU to come out firing the way they have on the road in Starkville is impressive, surprising, but encouraging. So a long way to go in this one. I mean, they're only again in the top of the third, but LSU with a 4-2 lead against Mississippi State. Again, the big story there is Kason Evans scratched from his start, and Gavin Guidry got the start instead. So we'll see if we can get word on why. I know Hunt's at the ballpark. I think he's on the call, but with Chris Blair. So we'll see if we can get word on why Evans was scratched, if we will share with you. But nonetheless, Tigers right now leading 4-2 in the third inning. Top three with one out after Sermon homered, Aaron Beatty grounded out. So we'll keep you posted on what's going on there in Starkville. Okay, wrapping up hour number one. When we come back, Mansour Delane, 6 overall, what it means for, I think, for Lane Kiffin's Tigers to have another DB go 6 overall. We'll dive into that as we continue. Hour two's next on AFR.
After further review.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. We've got a busy weekend, man. We're talking about the Zurich Classic. We're talking about Jazz Fest for a lot of folks. LSU's on the road in Starkville. You got the NFL draft tonight and Saturday. There's a ton going on. A lot of you doing kids, games, t-ball, softball, baseball, whatever it may be. Look, if that's where you are right now and you need quick food options, Rouse's has got you covered. Grab and go, something for everybody in the family. And if you need to do your grocery shopping, they can help make this a simple process for you as well. Go to the app, download the Rouse's app, pick out your items on the app. Do it while you're at the ballpark with whatever. Swing on into one of the Rouse's. Their personal shop will pick up the stuff for you, bring it out to your car, saves you time. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home.
It's not easy to be a champion.
It's built from every swing, pitch, and game all season long. In the grind, the focus,
and in the recovery.
FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake experts provide best-in-class care for our state's world-class athletes. Because it takes a champion to care for champions.
I trust the lake to keep me at my best.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 25 Jeep Grand Cherokee with $15,000 off MSRP.
Plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here. Helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
If your office is experiencing performance
performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Duncan. The NFL Draft continues this evening with rounds 2 and 3. Last night in round 1, the Jets took edge rusher David Bailey. ESPN's Mel Kiper talked about the newest Jet and why he might have gone as high as he did.
He had 8 forced fumbles over the last 2 years, 5 in 2024 at Stanford, 3 this past year. He became a dominant edge rusher at Texas Tech. Now, he had some help. Lee Hunter inside, defensive tackle, good player, and Romello Height on the other side.
You can hear coverage of the draft tonight on ESPN Radio. Our coverage kicks off with rounds 2 and 3 in about an hour. You can also see draft coverage on ESPN and ABC. Tonight in the NBA, it's the Celtics and 76ers in Game 2 of their series. Game 3, rather. Joel Embiid is doubtful. He continues to recover from an appendectomy. Lakers and Rockets tonight. Houston trailing 2-0. Meanwhile, the Spurs will battle the Blazers. Victor Wembanyama remains questionable as he recovers from a concussion. That series tied at a game apiece. Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. Lightning, Canadians, Golden Knights of Mammoth, Oilers and Ducks. All those series tied at a game apiece. Basketball, Kansas freshman Darren Peterson announced he'll enter the NBA draft.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up on Monday, we have a packed sports weekend, and I'll react to it all in my Upon Further Review. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We're here at the Zurich Classic at the Walk-Ons tent, 17 green. Shout out to Brandon Landry, the great crew over here at Walk-Ons, as always, for the invitation to host us. Got my guy Joel Satoon, the Go DJ over there, bouncing the tunes. World's greatest golfers coming through here on a beautiful day. I say it all the time. Even if you're not a golf fan, it's irrelevant. If you're not a golf fan, if you are a golf fan, come for the golf. If you're not, come for the party. There's food, there's music, there's drinks, there's everything you could want. It's just an awesome day for a guy's day, a couple's day, a day with the kids. It's just, if you've never been, or if you've been before and it's been a while, or if you come every year, come on down this weekend to the Zurich Classic. All right. Keeping an eye on LSU and Mississippi State as they make their way. They're in the bottom of the third right now. LSU with a 4-2 lead over the Bulldogs. So far, so good for the Tigers. It would be amazing if they get off on a good foot here. LSU got off on a very good foot to start the NFL draft here in 2026. Mansour Delane, we knew he would hear his name called in day one. We didn't know how early. Turned out it was earlier than most expected.
With the 6th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Mansour Delane, defensive back, LSU.
By the way, all y'all people with all your spoilers on Twitter, y'all can kick rocks. Since Terrio in here, I'll tell you to kick rocks right now. Y'all basically forced me away from Twitter because I was sick of all your spoilers. I actually wanted to watch the draft and have a reaction to it. So Mansour Delane goes 6 overall to the Kansas City Chiefs, and it wasn't just that he went 6. It's that the Chiefs leapfrogged both the Saints and the Commanders, two teams that were rumored to be interested in Mansour Delane. They jump ahead to 6 to make sure they got their guy. Brett Veach talked about the decision to trade up for Delane.
I've always said this, you do all this work and you put all this time into this, but you want a guy, you got to go find a way to get him. And again, when you look at the landscape, it was funny because we kind of had, like, when we're picking, it looks like it'll be Tyson, Delane, Downs kind of in that stack. We kept going through it. And, we just relied on our data analytics and said, like, the Saints would be likely to take Delane there just because of losing the 2 corners the last 2 years. And again, similar predicament. So just went up there and got that guy.
The other thing that's fascinating about this, so we talk all the time about smoke screens and the games that teams play. You hear me say every year on Wednesday before the draft, when there's that pre-draft press conference, and I'm always like, it's the silliest thing, because teams do all of this work for months and sometimes years, scouting and evaluating players and doing top 30 visits and doing medical evaluations and combine and pro day and everything. Like, they're not going to tell you what they think the day before the draft. Well, Brett Veach from the Chiefs effectively confirmed that when he explained why they did not bring, again, the dude that they took 6th overall, the Chiefs did not even bring in for a top 30 visit. Here's why.
3-4 weeks ago when we were going through the 30 visits, I bumped Steve and I said, we're going to bring our corner. And he's like, don't bring him in. Just don't bring him in. Let's just zoom him. Let's keep it quiet. Thought we did a good job. I think a lot of people thought we might go offensive line there. But this was our guy the whole time. Again, assuming Bailey and Reese were off the board, great players. But, we had Delane right up there. And it's hard to find, good corners. And I know that we've done well over the years of addressing corners late. But, when you're kind of within reach of a top corner, we did that a couple years ago. I think we traded a 3 and a 4 to get McDuffie. So, traded a 3 and a 5 to get Matt Delane. So we're extremely excited.
Basically admitted he wanted to keep it quiet. That's why they didn't bring Delane in for a top 30 visit. He was always their guy. So by the way, I want to talk about what this means for LSU in just a second. But Delane had his post-draft media availability with the media there in Kansas City, and he was asked, was he surprised that the Chiefs picked him?
Obviously, I think it's an obvious case where, everybody was saying, the needs for my position and whatnot. But to me, the communication with the Chiefs wasn't really too much, so I didn't really expect it, I would say. But just really my reaction at the time of getting picked, all my emotions came out when I seen that Kansas City, number come across my phone. It was just a blessing.
He wasn't anticipating Chiefs. Wasn't a team that had done a bunch of homework on him, at least not publicly, but they knew. And obviously they knew what we all knew, which is Mansour Delane was the best cornerback in college football. And, I look at this through different lenses, right? Like, I'm very excited for Delane, being the fact that he gets to go to a place with a winning culture. Patrick Mahomes will be coming off of injury, and even though he went 6th overall, typically if you're going 6th overall, you're going to a team that does it's not contending. And in this instance, the Chiefs traded up, and he's going to go to a team where he's going to have a chance with a healthy Patrick Mahomes to be right in the mix and be on a playoff team and a contending team, which is amazing for the player. I think of it through the lens of LSU as well, and I just keep going back to Corey Raymond because, hop in the DeLorean with me, crank that thing up to 88 and take it back to 2023. It just, less than 3 years ago. Think about what it was like watching LSU's defensive backfield. And we don't need to relitigate the whole thing. Y'all know, those of you who wanted Corey Raymond gone, you know who you are, and you all know you're silly. And you all get it now. But in 2023, Zy Alexander was your best cornerback. Again, an FCS transfer was your best cornerback. You had Deuce Chestnut and J.K. Johnson and Denver Harris rolling out there. Think about the light years apart that is from what we had become accustomed to seeing in the LSU defensive backfield for a decade with Corey Raymond. And so Corey comes back and just immediately has flipped this thing back into what it was. And part of it was going to get a transfer like Delane and taking him from a really good college player to the best cornerback in the country, a guy who allowed 14 receptions the entire season, a guy that did not allow a touchdown catch a season ago. A guy that was a unanimous All-American, just the 4th LSU defensive back ever to earn unanimous All-America honors. I've told you this way before to put that into context. Like, Tyrann Mathieu in his Honey Badger year in 2011 was not a unanimous All-American, which is absurd, but real. So it puts some context on the type of season that Mansour Delane just had. And then when you have something go the way that it did like this season with Delane, it helps you go sell to transfers. Now, LSU was not aggressive in this portal cycle at cornerback. They had a Traylon James from Southern. That's the only one. He's a safety that they have playing corner. So they did not go after cornerback in the transfer portal. But it's not to say they won't again. Well, they have Mansour Delane to say, look, come here and look what you can become here with Corey Raymond. And then you look at building that block on top of everything that Corey's already done during his time at LSU in his previous stint, and now you had another building block on it, and you go, okay, well, next is DJ Pickett. You know, and Pickett is going into his sophomore year, but, you know, Pickett was a 5-star #1 cornerback in the country, and he's next. Now, I'm not trying to be dismissive of P.J. Woodland, because I think what P.J. Woodland has done from a guy that was a 3-star, that all of a sudden he's heavily targeted by Corey Raymond because they're like, I know what to do with that guy. And now this guy who was a 3-star that was lightly recruited is a starter and a star player in the SEC. But you're going to go Pickett. And we've talked plenty this spring about Haven Finney and the incredible work that he's done as a reclass early enrollee, a guy that should be in the spring semester of his junior year of high school and is out there running around making plays at LSU in spring practice, who was the #1 corner in the country for 2027 before he reclassed. Well, now the #1 corner in the country for 2027 is Joshua Dobson, who was just on LSU's campus this weekend on an unofficial visit while there were a dozen dudes on official visits. So you can see you were going like Delane and Pickett and Finney and Dobson, and you're building again with these elite level cornerbacks to build that room to what it was. And that's obviously a core component of what made LSU so good during that decade run with Corey Raymond. So congrats to Mansour Delane. His one season in Baton Rouge was massively impactful in the secondary on his life, becoming the 6th overall pick and a guy that's going to make $40 million. And then also impactful for Lane Kiffin and for Corey Raymond as they continue to recruit transfer portal and freshman signees to continue to say, look, we did it before, done it again. So congrats to Mansour Delane, the 6th pick overall of the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, it's after further review, and we're glad you're hanging out with us here on this Friday edition of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Always love telling you about Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor, other harmful pathogens. Jim Woodworth and the gang, man, they do awesome work, and it's so easy. Go to the website, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. Go to the website, fill out the form. They'll give you an estimate. They'll come to your home, your office, your church, the school, doctor's office, building, whatever it is. They'll spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. They'll close the doors and the windows, let it dwell, kill everything down to the spores. As soon as the fog lifts, boom, you're back in, free, clear, clean smelling. It's Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here on this Friday edition of AFR. We're at the Zurich Classic. Ross Jackson is going to jump aboard with us next. As day 2 of the NFL Draft is set to begin, what are the Saints looking at with the 42nd pick and then also in round 3? Could they be trade-up targets here for the New Orleans Saints? We'll dive into that with Ross Jackson as we continue. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rev, R-E-V. Let's Rev, letsrev.com. Let's Rev. Actually, it's revfiber.com. Remember, revfiber.com is the new website that you want to know, because if you want the benefit of an all-fiber network, you want Rev, R-E-V. Lightning fast speeds and the stability of an all-fiber network. It's Rev Fiber for your home or for your office. Hey, look, Paris Construction Roofing, we are Rev customers. Guarantee Media, we are Rev customers. If you want lightning fast internet speeds, a better price, better service, a better product, let's Rev. RevFiber.com is the website, so start there. You want to get your quote. Great local service. It's Rev Fiber. you want to find out what neighborhoods now where they've laid fiber in the greater Baton Rouge area, you can do it. Go to revfiber.com. Revfiber.com.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has the new 25 Ford F-150 Lariat truck with $12,000 off MSRP, plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
All right, we continue here on a Friday edition of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We're at the Walk-Ons tent, 17 Green here at the Zurich Classic in New Orleans. Glad to have you hanging out and glad to welcome Ross Jackson onto the show. Yeah, dude, how are you?
Hey, man, doing great. Thanks for having me. Hope you're well.
Yep, our pleasure. Thank you. Quick reaction to the Jordyn Tyson pick?
Yeah, I mean, look, the Saints wanted to get their offense some help, and they went and got the best player that's going to be able to help them in that area when it comes to a skill position player. It's the first time that the Saints have had first-round picks in the last since 2014, so at the last 11 years, that didn't include some offensive linemen or some defensive linemen being drafted. And so, this was obviously a big swing that the Saints wanted to take. And, injury history aside, this is a guy that can really bring a lot of, juice and, of course, an explosive nature to this offense that lacked playmakers last year.
Okay, so I would assume they wouldn't have made the pick if they weren't good with the injury history. So let's assume everybody's all good there. In so doing, they passed on the opportunity to draft some guys we talked about, Ross Reuben Bain, Caleb Downs. Do you believe it was the right decision?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. I thought Caleb Downs was the best player in this year's draft, but he also didn't go off the board until 11. So either I'm insane or the NFL just doesn't value safeties. And I think if you look at the track record of guys like Kyle Hamilton and Brian Branch and Malachi Starks and now Caleb Downs, maybe the NFL just doesn't value the safety position, and that's just what it is. But, wide receiver is a premium position. When the Saints go away from their offensive line, defensive line, typical type of selections, they tend to go either wide receiver or cornerback in the first round. And so they stuck with that tendency. Whether or not it was the right selection is going to be up to how Kellen Moore utilizes them. But I do think that he was one of the three players that made the most sense for the team at number 8 overall. I would put him, Downs, and Mansour Delane kind of as those three guys. And so, it's still one of those top 3 players that I expected the Saints to be interested in. But, whether or not he was a better pick than Downs is going to be a wait-and-see moment.
All right, let's talk a little bit about what's ahead. So the Saints have the 42nd pick in the draft. It's the 10th pick of day 2. There have been, I've seen reports, Ross, that the Saints could be a team maybe potentially trading up. Also of note, grass is green, water is wet, and the sky is blue.
Right.
That's just that's what they do. So I wouldn't rule that out, of course. If they're standing pat at 10, what do you think, either player or position, they're looking at there with the 10th pick of day 2, I should say?
Yeah, I imagine that you're leaning towards the defensive side of the football. A lot of attention being given to the offense this offseason. So far, that continued last night, sort of punctuated with Jordyn Tyson. So I could certainly see defense being the way that they go. And to me, the two positions that stand out the most are edge rusher as well as cornerback. And in particular, somebody that might be able to play in the slot for you, or somebody that can play on the perimeter and then allows you to move somebody over to the slot. Either one could work. And so, edge rusher right now, one guy that I'm shocked is still on the board is TJ Parker, the Clemson edge rusher, who can play in space, who can defend the run, and who can rush the passer very well. Pretty good prototype for Brandon Staley's defense. So he would definitely be one that I'd watch out for. And then when it comes to slot corner, my favorite guy in that fit for, in terms of this entire draft class, is Keontae Scott, the cornerback out of Miami, who just loaded up the stat sheet, productive and disruptive type player that I think would be a great fit in this defense.
Is that someone you would think of at 42, or is that someone that might linger at 73?
I think you're going to have your best shot at both of those guys at 42. I think if either one of them had the best chance to make it to 73, it would be Keontae Scott. I don't think TJ Parker is going to last very long on the board here once the second round begins.
Okay, so and Ross Jackson's with us, Locked On Saints, and of course LouisianaSports.net at Ross Jackson NOLA. If they do make the pick at 73, and I know you were doing mock drafts once a week throughout this entire month leading up, so you have a good sense of what might be on the board. Hypothetically, Ross, if they do go defense at 42, what's the thought at 73?
You might stick with defense, right? You have those two positions, edge rusher and corner. So maybe it's you address one of those spots at 42, assuming that you stick there. And then if you stick at 73, you address the other spot at 73. And so that could look like, a TJ Parker at 42, or maybe somebody a little bit more realistic would probably be Keontae Scott at 42. And then maybe at 73, you look back at edge rushers like Jaysean Barham out of Michigan, who has off-ball linebacker experience, transitioned to an edge rusher last year in week 3 with the Michigan Wolverines defense, and still piled on 5 sacks and a high pressure rate last season. Another guy that makes a lot of sense is Kieran Crawford, a former basketball guy that transitioned to playing football his senior year of high school and has been excellent as an edge rusher during his time over with Auburn, and has a big-time kind of leadership quality around him. And so I feel like either one of those positions you can address in the second round, and then maybe look to address the other in the third round. The wild card position for me on the defensive side the two wild card positions for me on either side of the football are still defensive tackle, because you'd like to improve this run game a little bit. 19th last year, so took a step forward, but still not where you want it as an NFL team. And then running back would be another place that you would potentially look at to see if you want to continue to add some competition to that room and prepare yourself for life post Alvin Kamara, whether that strikes in 2026 or 2027.
Do you think they're done at wide receiver for this draft?
I wouldn't say so. I could absolutely see them going for especially somebody with maybe some return specialist acumen. Actually, a guy out of LSU, Xavier Thomas, John Eric guy, like a guy that makes a ton of sense for them, who has some return ability, has good speed, and can contribute as a wide receiver. I think he would be one of those guys that I'd look for. They're Shreveport native out of Kentucky. That's Kendrick Law. He could be one of those guys. And even Georgia's Zachariah Branch, who could be a guy that you look at as well, who's probably more of a day 2 player, but if there was an additional trade up, or maybe they just felt like he was the best player on the board at either 42 or 73, I could certainly see them still double dipping at wide receiver at some point in the draft.
I got a couple more for you. Of course, they got 8 picks total in this draft. A big question, Ross, is do you have 8 roster spots that would necessitate using 8 picks? Where do you fall on that? Because that obviously changes the conversation about potentially trading up to get someone you like.
Yeah, look, you can always add more depth and competition towards the bottom part of that depth chart, but I think you're right. I don't know that you really have 8 total spots to really invest draft picks in, and I think that's okay because, honestly, look, 5 of these 8 selections with 7 selections left, 5 of those are between the picks of 192 in the 4th round, 132 in the 4th round, and 190 in the 6th round. If you have the opportunity to gather some of those picks or package some of those picks to move up and take some higher percentage shots, as opposed to a plethora of lower percentage shots, I think there's some value there. And so if you're able to package, like, for instance, they have 2 4th-round picks and 2 5th-round picks, traditionally speaking, 2 in 1 round will help you move up to the next. And so if that makes sense for you, or you package some, 132 from the 4th round and 1 of those 5th-round picks to try to just move up to higher in the 4th round, I think that can make a lot of sense if there's a player on the board at a spot that you can move up just outside of the top 100 to go and target.
This is a really tough one. Last one. It's a really tough one to answer right now, not knowing what the Saints are going to do in day 2. But since we won't talk to you before day 3, give me a sense of strategy or approach on the 3rd day of the draft for New Orleans.
Yeah, I think the 3rd day, what you're looking at are some of the positions where you can get some multiple play from those positions. And what I mean by that is, you look at the offensive linemen that can also be special teams contributors for you on your punt block or punt or field goal or extra point units, things like that. You start to look for depth and competition there. But you also start looking at those wide receivers and running backs that can double as return specialists, those cornerbacks and safeties that can double as gunners, those linebackers that can double as personal protectors as well as on punt coverage and things like that. So once you get to day 3, you're starting to look for who are the guys that you can invest in that have the kind of most paths to the roster. And so it becomes less about what position they play and all the different ways they could potentially make your investment worth it. And I think that those are some of the spots that you might see them try to attack later on in the draft. Also, tight end could still be a position that they could look to add to. I've heard that there's some interest in adding to that position still. And in that day 3 area, there's a lot of really good, particularly whether you want a pass-catching tight end or a blocking tight end, you can still continue to invest in that position, which can bring some special teams value as well.
Give him a follow at Ross Jackson NOLA. Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Saints, and you can read him at louisianasports.net, always free. All right, dude, we appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Thank you, buddy. Take care. Stay safe. Talk to you soon. Enjoy New Orleans.
All right, man. Be well. Talk soon. It is after further review. The Tigers have tacked on another one here in the 4th. I'm guessing most of you who are interested in the game are probably watching the game, but it's 5-3 LSU. William Patrick singled. Ruckert was trying to lay down a sacrifice, singled. Stanfield struck out, and then Curiel reached on a fielding error by the shortstop. So that brought the run home, Patrick home, who scored on the error. So Tigers have gotten off against Tomas Valinkas, which is just it's why I love baseball. It's just it's a maddening game. But this is why you love it, because this doesn't make any sense. An LSU team dead in the water, couldn't get going offensively at home against a subpar Texas A&M staff, goes on the road to Mississippi State against a guy that has a sub-2 ERA. He's probably the best pitcher in the league. And they put up a 5 spot already here with 1 out in the top of the 4th. I mean, as they say, that's baseball. All right, it's after further review. We're provided by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com, SouthPointVW.com. Check out our friends over at South Point Volkswagen. You know where to find them. As a matter of fact, just today I was having a little issue with the vehicle. This is a true story. Starting the car, is making a little funny noise. It's like, you know what? I'm driving to New Orleans. I don't want to risk it getting stuck. So let me bring it in. So when went over to South Point, and thankfully My mom, who also drives a Volkswagen Atlas, was at home today, didn't have anything to do, so I called her. So she met me over at South Point, and I took her Volkswagen Atlas here today while my car is at South Point. So anyway, bottom line is southpointvw.com. They can do it all for you, and they're the best. It's South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland, or southpointvw.com. Southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. We're keeping an eye on LSU, Mississippi State. We'll have a ton to talk about previewing day 2 of the draft coming up in hour number 3 here on AFR. Let me knock out a break. Our buddy Steve Worthy from the Zurich Classic, who of course is the chairman, president of the 4Kids Foundation, who puts on the Zurich Classic every single year, will be here to chat with us a little bit as well, talk some golf with Steve, who's just to my right. So we'll do that as we continue. We're glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, when you stand outside for 3 hours and it's 83 degrees, even if you're in the shade, you start to get a little, I don't know, a little sweaty. You glow, you glisten a little bit. Great opportunity to go swan dive into your beautiful custom pool from Duplessis Pools. DuplessisBuilders.net is the website. DuplessisBuilders.net, that's the website to get Duplessis Pools. Not only can they build you a beautiful custom pool, they can also build you an outdoor kitchen. They have custom putting greens and things like that they can do at your property. It's Duplessis Pools. Check them out online at DuplessisBuilders.net. You can start that whole process at the website because they have 11 different pool designs already made where you can just choose all your finishes and features. It's right there online. It's super easy. They're going to build you a beautiful custom pool that lasts with a 10-year workmanship warranty. So check them out online at DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Ever wonder why cane sauce doesn't come in a pre-sealed packet? It's because it's made fresh inside every Raising Cane's every single day. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
right, glad to have you aboard with us here as we continue from the Zurich Classic. It's a beautiful walk-ons tent venue right here between 17 Green and 18 T. And the executive director of the 4Kids Foundation basically puts on this great event every single year. Kind enough to invite us is Steve Worthy, who also kind enough to take 10 minutes out of his day to spend some time with us when he's not running a golf tournament. How are you, sir? Good to see you.
All good. Yeah, busy happening event venue. You know, across the golf course at a crosswalk, and you can hear the dull roar. So, you got it going on here. It's good.
You got the dull roar. There was a big putt made here just a bit ago. The audience listening or watching could certainly hear that. I'm a little blocked by Joel, by Go DJ, so sometimes it's hard to see around, but it's worth it. The ambiance is awesome. I know before we dive into anything else, tomorrow, delayed start?
Yeah, looks like some weather overnight, maybe in the 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. range. Looks like we're going to start, depending on the number of teams that make the cut, between 9:45 and 10 a.m. tomorrow. We'll go off 1 and 10 T. We'll have information going out to all of our volunteers and ticket holders and on the website and everything. The venues will open the same time.
Okay.
We'll have play here same time we would have anyway. So no real changes there, but just people can get an extra hour or two of sleep.
So all the fans or the spectators that are coming, they can still come at the same time. The course will be open.
It'll be a little later. We won't open the gates. All that info will go out everywhere tonight. But rather than opening the gate at 7 a.m., it'll open closer to probably 8 a.m., 8:30.
Okay, good to know. All right, so be mindful of that if you are coming out to the course on Saturday. Check social media. Check the Zurich Classic website. We'll share it out there as well. So far, great weather, obviously, and it's always the fingers crossed and you hope for it, but it's been amazing. How has the course played the first 2 days?
It's, the course has been in great shape. Players have all raved about the condition. It's interesting. Usually firm and fast, because we've been so dry, makes the golf course a little tougher, but we've all been kind of surprised. Had low scores, particularly in alternate shot. Alternate shot is very difficult. And, you go the first 4 or 5 years of our alternate shot play, if you shot 1 or 2 under, you made up ground usually. Yeah. Today, we've had a 7, we've had 5s and 6 unders. I mean, that's golfing your golf. That's good. So the golf course is in good shape, and they're making a lot of birdies.
I know from the time you all went to the team format, and it was such an innovative thing. And it's always interesting to continue to get the players' perspective on the format. We've seen some teams change and some be very consistent. What year is this, by the way?
This will be the 9th playing.
Okay, so it's been almost a decade now. How have you noticed the player reaction to the format?
They still really like it. It was when we came up with it, it was designed to be kind of in the middle of the schedule. So you've played a lot of individual tournaments. You come off the Masters and, a little more pressure and that sort of thing. And it kind of a chance to, hey, let's go play with my friend and relax and do something different. And they still rave about it. We had some challenges this year. There was a kind of a late schedule change made that dropped an event in behind us that was elevated, which, money is one thing, but for these guys, for their future, it's FedEx Cup points that are more than anything. If they can get the right number of FedEx Cup points and guarantee they're in the elevated events again next year, it's just good. They've got no cut events and just free money, free points, and perpetuates itself. So we knew we were going to have some challenges this year. Given that, we've still gotten a good field here. It doesn't matter every year we've been here. It's never been as good as I wanted it to be. But, we're happy about who's here. And I think the format still draws people here that, frankly, probably wouldn't otherwise come.
Yeah, the format, I say it all the time, Steve, I'm sure you would echo this. Like, if you love golf and you want to come watch the best golfers in the world, you can come here for golf. And it's amazing. You can stand right here and watch a par 3 and a par 5, and you can see great craftsmanship and skilled golf, and you can see bombs away, and it's great.
Absolutely.
If you want to just come for a party, you can come here and not watch a single stroke of golf and have a hell of a good time at this place as well.
No question. And I would hate to try to put a percentage on what percentage each side of that falls. It's close to 50-50, maybe even higher on the party side than on the hardcore golf side.
Well, I think what you have for sure is the blend of people who want to watch golf but also want to party. And it's a great, you've all done an awesome job. It's a great blend of all of that. And we always mention Steve is on Steve Worthy, 4Kids Foundation, of course, puts on this tournament every year and is kind enough to invite us. But The Four Kids Foundation donates money to Louisiana children's charities. It's like literally the root cause of why all of this is. So how do we do this year?
Yeah, looks like we're going to have a really good year. Last year, you see all our foundation members, Gordy included, we'll give him credit, who are working the venues and selling the tournament.
He keeps popping by in his little salmon-colored shirt. Hey, you need anything? You good? Yeah, I'm good, Gordy. Go tell people to be quiet by the putting green.
There we go.
Being so productive.
They take a lot of time and effort and make sure that the tournament goes well, and all of our proceeds go to charity. And so children's charities last year was a record $3.6 million distributed to children's charities. And our folks are very proud of that. And it looks like I feel like we're going to match that this year. Exceed, I don't know, but at least match. And, we're over $25 million over the last 10 years distributed. We've grown an awful lot and feel like we can continue to do that. And it's because of the hard work of all our members and our volunteers.
That's amazing. It's an amazing event to be at, and we always appreciate coming. So, again, tomorrow for Saturday, there's going to be a delayed start. So make sure that you're locked into social media, the website, everything to get all that info when it goes out. Anything else people need to know for the weekend?
Not really. We've got some good names on the leaderboard. I think it'll be fun. All those updated times, and the media will carry it, but at ZurichGolfClassic.com. You can see everything you need to see there. If you still want to buy a weekend ticket, we're lighter on Sunday than we are Saturday. Tomorrow's going to be crowded, but still some opportunity. So come on out and enjoy.
It's going to be great. Steve, we appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Steve Worthy at Four Kids Foundation. It's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. We are going to wrap up hour number 2. You still have Tigers in the pros, and I do need to dive into a little bit more about, as we sort of preview ahead, day 2 of the draft, as we are about an hour and 20 minutes away from the resumption of the NFL draft. Stay with us here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown in Baton Rouge. Southtown's right there. Bluebonnet near I-10, as we always say. We appreciate our friends so much at Watermark and Renaissance. 2 amazing hotel properties and an amazing place to host an event. What event? Really any event. If you need a place to have your wedding or a wedding reception or both. If you need a place to have a fundraiser, Watermark or Renaissance, amazing opportunity. See, Watermark downtown is Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. Voted by you the best hotel in the best of 225. Renaissance, gorgeous, sprawling, amazing hotel. Their grand ballroom can host up to 500 people. If it's just a dozen people in a board meeting or 500 for a giant event, our friends over at Watermark and Renaissance can accommodate you, and they have amazing dining experience as well. The Gregory downtown, Tallulah right there inside of Renaissance Baton Rouge. You can't go wrong, so check them out. Watermark downtown and Renaissance Baton Rouge.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Jordyn Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
It's not easy to be a champion.
It's built from every swing, pitch, and game all season long. In the grind, the focus,
and in the recovery.
FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake experts provide best-in-class care for our state's world-class athletes. Because it takes a champion to care for champions.
I trust the lake to keep me at my best.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Friday edition of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Great spot to get on by this weekend. Killing time. Always grab a amazing cigar at Don Juan Cigar Bar. Let the time fade away. Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center. Cocktail. And then just pop right next door. Don Juan Cigar Company, the retail shop. Take it with you to go. Don Juan Cigar Bar. All right, it's after further review. Muslim Tigers and the pros, just a quick second. LSU is leading Mississippi State 7-3. The Tigers have, I mean, this is going to be, now look, there's a long way to go. They're in the bottom of the 4th now, and Fontenot's in the pitch for Plog. But this is one of those where if they scratch out a win here today, you put yourself in position. Again, there's like, I don't want to be presumptive here because they're only in the bottom of the 4th and it's 7-3. But we've talked a lot about the math for this baseball team and how the math has to work to get to 13 league wins. And the thing that everyone has sort of pointed out as well, the RPI isn't good. And my point has been, you get 12 SEC games to go, including 16 SEC games to go. 4 weekends, 12 games. 9 of the 12 are against top 25 RPI teams. So the RPI is going to cooperate if you win. Now, if you don't win, you're in a pickle. But what became really hard to sort of project after being swept last weekend at home against Texas A&M and being 6 games under 500 is where are the 7 wins that get you to 13 in conference play? Because you're on the road against Mississippi State, you're on the road against Georgia, you're home against South Carolina, and home against Florida. The South Carolina series, I could predict LSU to win a home series, but that's 2. You need 5 more, meaning you have to win the home series against Florida, or get a game on the road against State and against Georgia, which is really tough to project that going on the road. Well, now all of a sudden, if you manage to get across again, long way to go, but if you manage to get across the finish line here in game 1, where they threw Valinkis and you scratched Evans late and went Guidry, and you're bullpenning this together. You're whole staffing this thing to get through game 1. And in theory, you would still have Schmidt, Evans, Schmidt, however you want to do it over the next 2. Now, all of a sudden, winning a road series against Mississippi State looks very doable. Like, if you manage to get this one, getting one of the next 2 feels very doable. So we're going to keep an eye on it. Long way to go in this one. But for LSU in this ball game, They've got a couple of crooked numbers that they've been able to put up already, a couple of 3 spots, and then a solo homer by Cerna is how they've handled their scoring. Guidry got the start, went 2 1/3. Binge went 1/3 of an inning. Plog went just 1/3 of an inning, and now Fontenot's in the ball game. So we'll keep you posted as it continues to move along there at Duty Noble Field. But LSU with a 7-3 lead in the bottom of the 4th with 1 out and a runner on second base after Chance doubled to right center. All right, it's After Further Review. We are glad to have you hanging out with us here. Yesterday, LSU receiver Winnie Watkins met with reporters, which was the last day of media availability in spring for LSU football. And I want to take some time to explore the significance of Watkins, I think, on this team, specifically and in this offense. We're going to get to that after the top of the hour. We'll talk a ton of NFL draft in hour number 3 as well. Right now, though, Muso Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, we'll start with the NBA playoffs from a night ago. Naz Reid and the Timberwolves, they took a 2-1 series lead over the Nuggets. For Naz, it was 18 minutes off the bench. 5 points in the game to go along with 6 rebounds and a couple of assists. Cool +4 there for Naz Reid. To Major League Baseball, Alex Bregman and the Cubbies, winners over the Phillies. Bregman went 1 for 5 in the ball game. That was a single. Average sits at 260. Did draw a walk in that game as well. Grant Taylor got his first win of the season for the Chicago White Sox. Inning and 2/3 of relief. 2 hits, no runs, no walks, and punched out 3. 26 pitches, 19 of those for strikes. He is now 1-0 on the year. Josh Smith and the Texas Rangers, winners over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Smitty did draw a walk and scored a run, but wore the collar 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Major League Baseball action here tonight. Paul Skeens, he will be on the bump as the Pirates travel up to Milwaukee. He'll oppose Brandon Woodruff. Skeens 3-1 on the year with a 3.27 ERA, 22 innings pitched, 7 walks, 23 punch-outs for Paul Skeens. He goes for his 4th win, and the Pirates look to continue scoring runs for Paul Skeens as they've done. NBA playoff action tonight. Trendon Watford and the Sixers will be back at it with the Celtics. That series flips to Philadelphia. It's tied 1-1. Watford has played in 1 of the postseason games, has sat out the other one due to coach's decision. And Tari Eason and the Rockets, they host the Lakers, trailing 2-0. Eason has played in both games so far and has gotten off to a pretty good start here in the postseason, but his team needs to pick it up a little bit. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Remind you about River Parish Contractors. They are hiring and looking for hard-working people that want a great opportunity. They got immediate openings right now for tackers, for pipe fitters, welders, pipe cutters. They've got night shifts, 5-10s, no rainouts, long-term work that you can count on at River Parish Contractors. So, full benefits, right? Insurance, 401k, paid time off. If you want to go to work for a solid team, a great local company, you want River Parish Contractors. Got to hang out actually a bit on Wednesday at the SNF Safety Day with my friends from River Parish Contractors, Ronnie and the whole team up there. They're the best. If you're interested, go to rpcontractors.com, rpcontractors.com, or call Big Jake at 985-479-9858, 985-479-9858 for River Parish Contractors, rpcontractors.com. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review here from the Zurich Classic on this Friday edition of AFR, and we're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We mentioned Jordyn Tyson met with reporters after he was taken 8th overall by the New Orleans Saints, and talked about, this is the clip that's gotten a lot of people's attention when he talked about playing alongside Chris Olave.
It's going to be amazing. Shoot, take pressure off each other, make our jobs easier, and shoot, I feel like us one-on-one, shoot, it's gonna get ugly.
Could get ugly. To have a 1-2 punch like that, a tandem with Tyson, who could be your number 1, and with Olave as your number 2, different skill sets, different stylistically. It was one of the main issues I had a season ago with Olave, Shaheed, then they signed Brandon Cooks. It was 3 dudes that all looked the same physically, right? Same size, similar skill set as well. You need it different. Well, 6'2", 200 pounds, that's different. Kellen Moore, afterwards, was also talked about Jordyn Tyson and how he complements Chris Olave, sort of alluding to that a little bit there.
I think the big thing with all of our receivers, and really you can look at probably almost that whole group collectively, is their versatility, their ability to line up in multiple positions, line up in a lot of spots. You watch Jordan's career, he's lined up in a number of places. And so certainly, him and Chris and they and all the other guys, their versatility is a positive for us. We're not going to be stuck in guys playing one position. Certainly we'll have home bases for all those guys, but they'll be able to line up wherever they need to.
Love to hear that. And I think one more from Kellen Moore, and this is 9 Muse if we could. He was asked about wide receiver being a priority in the first round, and it's something like, and I guess we have this conversation all the time, and we sort of assume certain things, but like we, us, you, me, fans, media, whatever, we've all talked about why receiver was a necessity, because you could look at that room and go, man, you're really lacking a star. But it's something the Saints also have just never been prone to do. Well, you have a new head coach, a new quarterback, and sort of a new day, a new direction, and that's the route they went. Here was Kellen Moore.
It wasn't a must-do in the first round. Obviously, you understand, hey, these first rounds take a lot of different paths, and we were prepared to handle a lot of different routines or potential scenarios here, and this one turned out great. We were fired up to get Jordyn, and so we got plenty of work to do. We got plenty more picks to go through as we go through this whole process the next 2 days, and so it'll be a lot of fun.
The next 2 days begins tonight, here in about an hour and 6 minutes, as day 2 of the NFL draft will resume. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Y'all, gents, Mother's Day right around the bend. Make sure you take care of Mom after she spends her whole life taking care of all of us slackers. I just told you my mom took care of me today. I'm 43 years old, having a little car trouble. I borrowed my mom's Volkswagen today to drive down here. Moms are always there for you, so take care of Mom on Mother's Day. Make sure you thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Let's put a button here in hour number 2. Get you caught up on national headlines from SportsCenter. We'll lock into that because the draft resumes in a little more than an hour. What's the latest scuttle? We'll find out when we hit SportsCenter here in just a smidge on AFR.
AFR.
Sorry about that, Muse. Went a little heavy there. We're brought by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. Thinking of buying land? Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com. Maybe you want to buy a whole bunch of acreage to build a beautiful golf course like this one. I don't know. Maybe you're a developer and you'd want to do that. Well, First South Farm Credit can help you buy that land. There's all types of zoning things and stuff that would factor in. It may make that cost prohibitive, but you do you. Maybe you just want that recreational property, that hunting property in Mississippi or Texas. Maybe you want the 100 acres in St. Francisville or Clinton. Maybe you work in New Orleans, but you want to live on the North Shore and commute and have the city, the city lifestyle for work, but you want to have the rural lifestyle at home. First South Farm Credit can help make that happen. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Log on to firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last, because in Louisiana, toughness isn't just on the court, it's in your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
This is how legends are.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
That's right!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. I'm Matt, Musso, and Taylor Sharp back in studio. Cassie Spazzali on site. And how about that? How about that service? Dude brought me a beer. Save it for later. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with us here at the Zurich Classic Walk-Ons 10. Thanks to Brandon Landry. Got to see him a bit ago as well here. Great hospitality as always. An awesome way to spend part of your Friday, Saturday, or Sunday here at the Zurich Classic. The draft resumes in 1 hour. So right on the nose, 1 hour the draft will resume. The Saints have the 42nd pick. We will dive into a little bit of what we might expect the Saints to do at 42. We'll get to that here in just a smidge. They're on the top of the 5th in Starkville. And so LSU is batting with a 3-run lead, 7-4. LSU leading the Bulldogs, top 5 there in Starkville. I want to pivot just briefly because we didn't get a chance yesterday to do this because we were at the LSU parade grounds for the Team Kate Swab event, and the show had just a much deeper meaning for a lot of things yesterday, and so it took a lot of the show, and I was glad to do it, and it was wonderful. But Thursday was the final media availability for LSU for spring football. They're going to practice Saturday, and that'll be the final practice. But Thursday was the last time we got to watch them practice and the last media availability with players. And Winnie Watkins, the receiver transfer from Ole Miss, is one of the players who met with reporters. And I'm glad that he was one that took a turn because I think he's one of the more interesting stories on this team, but also one of the more important players offensively for reasons we've talked about. And if you remember, on Tuesday, during our media availability with Lane Kiffin, I asked Lane specifically about Winnie Watkins, because one of the things that's been very apparent to me, again, like, I don't know the play calls, I don't know the offense, I just get to go watch like the rest of the media. But Winnie Watkins wears 6, which, by the way, they're going to have a potential problem if you do end up playing Husan Longstreet at quarterback, because Longstreet and Watkins are both 6, and you can't have 2 6s on the field at the same time. But anyway, I digress. Let's hope Sam Levitt's healthy. We don't have to answer that question. But Watkins always seems to be in the right place. It's just an observation where you go, man, Watkins makes catches all the time. And it's if they need a first down on 3rd and 6, he runs the quick out route, the timing pattern, he knows exactly where to be. And it's just very obvious that his familiarity with this offense is making him more efficient. Like, you look and you go, oh, that's how it's supposed to look when this thing is fluid. So even when the offense was scuffling, he was still very efficient throughout this process. So I asked Lane Kiffin on Tuesday about Watkins' familiarity with the offense and how much that helps.
Obviously, when players come from systems no different than the NFL, when they sign them in free agency from the last place they were coaching at, a lot of times usually defensive or offensively when a coordinator moves or becomes a head coach, that really helps. Now, hopefully the other guys, they'll progress a little bit slower and catch up to that, because obviously Winnie has a head start, but it is really good. Part of bringing TJ here was not just the player that he is, it was that he knew my expectations in the locker room, how things are done, especially on the other side of the ball. And so to have that, so when players are asking, like, okay, hey, how can we do this? He can say, hey, you got to trust the process. This is how it works. You're going to eventually figure it out. It just may not make sense now. So when he's younger, but he gives you some of that in the receiver room, that went in a lot to decisions to take, because they understand what you're trying to get done.
Okay, so with that context from Lane about Winnie, even though he's younger, knows what to do and all that sort of stuff, Watkins talked about this being, remember, he's a sophomore now. Like, he played his freshman season last year at Ole Miss. So it's only his second year, but still, it's his second year in this offense. So this was Watkins talking about the importance of him being in his second year in the offense.
My freshman year, I did a lot of thinking because I knew the offense because I learned it last spring ball. And you know how, like, you do something in life and, okay, you feel like you got it and then you just go with it. Now I'm to the point where, like, I feel like I got the offense. Now I'm getting the advanced stuff. So now I'm learning, like, defenses. I'm learning how to play like a quarterback. So while I'm on the field, I'm reading the defense like a quarterback. So I feel like I'm on that next step now to where it's like I'm trying to take that year 2 growth that I've been calling. Me and Coach McDonald been talking about year 2 growth. So I feel like my year 2 growth is just, playing faster, which I think I have been doing, reading the defenses, understanding the game, and just going out there and playing. Because at the end of the day, football is a pretty basic sport. It's just you got to do your part and understand it to the best of your abilities and then go complete the assignment.
This is going to be a weird comp. I'm sure you view a comp that has nothing to do with sports. When I was in high school, I worked at a seafood market. This is weird. It's always going to be a weird comp. But I think it'll be relatable for anybody. I worked in a seafood market, and people would come in and maybe someone would say, yeah, I'd like a half a pound of headless shrimp. And so you have to weigh it, right? You have to weigh it and then tag it. And you get so good at doing something because you do it so much, you can just tell. And, like, I could just eyeball it, throw it on the scale, and within, like, a half a tenth a pound, I'd nail it. Just because I know, as I did it all the time, right? So, like, whatever that thing is in your life, maybe you're a carpenter. Like, you can look at a piece of hardwood and know the dimensions or what that's going to be good. You know. But if you think back to, like, your first day doing that thing, or even if you're an attorney or a surgeon or whatever, a radio host, like, doesn't it stand to reason that the more you do something, the better at it you're going to be? That's what this feels like. You're seeing guys in this offense that are learning the offense, and so maybe they're a tick slow because they're still thinking. And so you heard Winnie Watkins say, like, I'm in my year 2 and it's growth, and so now it's like I'm starting to learn what it's like to play as a defensive back. And it's just very clear that he's advanced, and so it gives you a lot of confidence knowing that the other guys, hopefully, are going to get to that same level. And then what about, like, year 2 and then year 3 as well? So I thought that was interesting. And remember, earlier in spring, we also heard from TJ Daugherty, who is one of the other. There's 3 players that came over from Ole Miss. Devin Harper was the other. But Daugherty talked about Lane Kiffin sort of being a misunderstood guy, about how genuine that he is. Well, Winnie Watkins was asked why he followed Kiffin from Ole Miss to LSU.
I would say being recruited out of high school, Coach Kiffin was already like the reason why I wanted to go to Ole Miss. So I did my visit there. I loved everything there. The offense was great. Offensive staff is really good, and they're like a group of geniuses to me. So Coach Weiss, all of them, Coach McDonald, they showed me the offense, and I was like, I want to be a part of it. I went to Ole Miss, did my part, because I was a freshman. So I really just tried to find a role, played when I played, got the ball, whatever, did my job. And then as Coach Kiffin got the opportunity to go to LSU and he told me that he was going to go there, I was like, you know what, I'm going to take my talents to there too, because I feel like I put my trust in him coming out of high school. So him going to LSU, I feel like it was just a good move for me.
Really, I've used this term a bunch throughout spring to describe Lane Kiffin, but I've described Lane Kiffin as thoughtful. Again, not like thoughtful and like, that's you're considering the feelings of others, just like you're thinking a lot about what you're saying and the answers you're giving. And I felt the same sort of listening to Winnie Watkins as well. And, one more that I thought was interesting hearing from Winnie was about the team's growth. You heard him talk a little bit about his growth, but the team's growth so far through spring, coming in as a whole lot of new pieces through 15 practices, how much they've developed.
I would say as we keep improving as a team and coming together as a family, we just got to keep growing together, learn each other. We hang out, but we need to hang out more oftenly. As the summer comes, I'm pretty sure we will, and just grow together. Offensively, if we come together and everybody just, understand everybody's role and everybody understand that they got a piece to the puzzle, we're going to do our job, and then defense do their job, and we all come together and we go dominate.
When Lane Kiffin at the beginning of spring was talking about the receiver group, and remember, they went into the portal and they went ham at receiver. They added Jace Brown and Trey Wilson and Jackson Harris and Winnie Watkins and Roman Mothershed and Tyree Holloway and Josh Jackson and Malik Elzy. I mean, that's 9 receivers just out of the portal. That doesn't even include Corey Barber and Jabari Mack. You have Braden Allen, who's still not even here yet. So point being, you're going to have, a dozen wide receivers. And the way Lane said it earlier in spring was they could have used their cap, right, their budget, the word he used, their cap, all on 1 or 2 receivers. But you run the risk if you do that of what if you miss, or what if there's an injury or a turned ankle away from them blowing your entire budget on one player. And the example to give obviously is Corey Coleman, the Auburn receiver, who's was outstanding. I mean, he's an outstanding receiver, he's the best receiver in the portal. He's at Texas now. But instead of going that route, they went the route of adding 9 guys, all in different classifications with different experience levels and different skill sets. And the idea was, okay, well, now we have this deep room of a lot of talented people. Of these dozen, these 12, 13, 14 receivers, if you include the freshmen, what 4 to 6 can emerge? Well, I think throughout spring we've seen Jackson Harris, Jace Brown, I mentioned obviously Winnie Watkins, and then I think guys like Malik Elzy, certainly one of those, who's been impressive. And a guy that stood out to me a bunch is Trey Wilson, the Florida transfer, who is just sudden and explosive. He's smaller. He's 5'11", 190 is where they have him listed, but he is fast and explosive and an exciting athlete to watch. But I guess my point with all of this is to say, listening to Winnie Watkins talk about his progression year 1 to year 2 in this offense is a good roadmap to see about how everybody else in this offense might progress throughout spring and then in the summer, fall, and then throughout the season and then as it goes along, which sounds obvious, but it's an example of actually an illustrative example of seeing it progress here throughout spring compared to other guys who are learning it for the first time. So for that reason, I think Winnie Watkins has been a really valuable piece for this team so far, and hopefully will be in the 2026 season as well. All right, it's After Further Review. We are glad you're hanging out with us here on this Friday edition of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. I always love telling you about Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, Arco.com. It's Arco Power Systems. Our friends over at Arco tell you all the time about what they do at Arco. They are industrial generator power. That's what they do at Arco. It's standby generators for your business, for your industrial facility, for your municipality. It's Arco Power Systems, ARCCO. And while home base is in Baton Rouge, they serve so much more than just Baton Rouge at Arco Power Systems. You go north to Little Rock, east to Mobile, west to San Antonio, draw a giant circle. If you're anywhere in that footprint, Arco can help your business stay online when the power goes out. ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com, Arco.com. All right, y'all, it is after further review on this Friday edition of AFR. As we mentioned, the LSU Tigers are out there in Starkville, game 1 against the Mississippi State Bulldogs. They're bottom 5 right now. It is 7-5 LSU as Mississippi State has added a run. They tacked on one here in the 5th. So LSU's hanging on, and we'll see if this team can, Sullivan homered. So the long ball has dinged LSU at times in this game. Again, I'm trying to follow it. I'm trying to host the show and follow the game on my phone as best I can. But Tigers still lead 7-5. Devin Sheeran is on the mound for LSU. I'm certain the thought here from Jay Johnson is let Sheeran get you home. I mean, last week against Texas A&M, he went 4 1/3 in relief, and he's your best arm in the bullpen. And so if Devin Sheeran can get you home in this game, fantastic, or get you to a point where you can hand the ball to Zach Cowan and maybe they can get you home. LSU needs wins. They need wins however they may come. So if you have an opportunity with a lead on the road against Mississippi State to get a win against a ranked team and a real nice RPI opportunity, you throw everything at it, and that's clearly what they're doing right now. All right, it's after further review. Let's knock out a quick break. NFL Draft resumes in 46 minutes from right now. We'll get you caught up on all the Day 2 rumors and what the Saints and Tigers. Saints may be looking at what Tigers might hear their name called today. We'll dive into that here as we continue. Stay with us here on a Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We're live at the Zurich Classic.
After further review.
If you want to feel your best, my friends at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness can help. YourGoodwood.com, YourGoodwood.com. That's the website. You can check them out online, YourGoodwood.com. Just a minute, actually not long ago, there was a younger guy who popped over here, 34 years old, and actually told me the story that he had just started on hormone therapy. I don't know why. I don't know how I ended up in those conversations with people sometimes, but we did. Maybe it was complimenting my weight loss, just looking better. And he mentioned to me he started HRT. And I was like, you're going to love it. And my story is one that's not dissimilar from a lot of men. Went through a very stressful life experience with my son in the hospital. It aged me physically, and hormone replacement therapies helped get my levels back to health, get me back to healthy levels. So I feel like I did when I was younger, perform better in every way, mentally, cognitively, physically, everything. YourGoodwood.com. Check them out. YourGoodwood.com.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish contractors, let's get building.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit SpineCenterLA.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 25 Jeep Grand Cherokee with $15,000 off MSRP.
Plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Raising Cane's Texas Toast is a thick slice of bread, garlic butter spread, grilled to golden perfection, and made to order just for you. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this...
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
All right, Devin Sheeran got the Tigers off the field in the fifth. They maintain their lead 7-5 in Game 1 there in Starkville, Tigers and Bulldogs. Day 2 of the NFL Draft resumes here in less than an hour, and it's going to be fascinating to see what happens at the top. So Jordyn Schultz had a report earlier on Friday that the 49ers, Cardinals, and Bills have received calls about potential trades at the top of round 2. Look, 5 of the final 7 picks in round 1 were offensive linemen, as we know. So typically when there's a run on a position, if there's a team that needs that position, then you're sometimes forced to act if there's a player you want before they come off the board. Schultz followed with another report that the 49ers are considered, quote, very open to moving back, acquiring draft capital at number 33. So 33 is the first pick of day 2. And I've told this before, but remember the Saints did this a few years back when they drafted Nick Saldiveri, when they went and took him with the first pick of day 3 of the draft. So you have time from the end of the day to the resumption of the draft to try to broker a deal, as opposed to just like the 8 minutes between draft picks, which is a very condensed timeline to get something done. You have time now to make it happen. So for whatever it's worth, there was I believe it was Pelissero. Pelissero said this among the teams, and you'll hear one that's familiar, among the teams potentially looking up to trade up on day 2.
Among other teams that are calling around not just the 33, but for other picks at the top of round 2 include the Dolphins, the Saints have made calls, the Browns, and the Jaguars, who of course did not have a pick on night 1. That had product of the Travis Hunter deal a year ago. Keep an eye on those teams.
Now, Pelissero followed that up with who teams might be looking to move up for.
In terms of who they potentially could be trading up for, let's start with a couple of guys who were the last men in the green room last night. Caden McDonald, the Ohio State defensive tackle. Not a lot of defensive tackle movement in round 1. We did see a couple come off the board, but certainly Caden McDonald is somebody that is viewed within the league as a player likely to come off in the first, let's say, 5 to 10 picks of round 2. Colton Hood, the Tennessee cornerback, also in the green room last night. That was maybe the most surprising player that did not come off the board in round 1. Again, a position where there just weren't very many corners that came off the board. Hood is a potential target as high as number 33. His college teammate Jermad McCoy, a top 10 talent who did not go in round 1 because of concerns about his knee. People within the league, executives I've spoken to, do anticipate we hear McCoy's name called at some point today. Denzel Boston, Washington wide receiver, another potential move up target.
So Denzel Boston, I think, would be off the board for New Orleans, considering they used the 8th overall pick on a wide receiver. So if New Orleans did move up, it would stand to reason they'd be going defense if they moved up. And you'd probably be looking at cornerback or edge rusher. So Jermad McCoy, I think, is probably the most intriguing name there. Again, because you're talking about a guy who is potentially, but for his injury, would have been potentially the top cornerback in this draft. So didn't play this season because of the ACL. So McCoy is if they're okay with the injury situation, that could be a target there. Colton Hood from Tennessee also as well. And then Brandon Cisse, the cornerback from South Carolina, and Avion Terrell, who before this draft had a lot of love and draft projection as a potential first-round draft pick who's still on the board. So, do the Saints get aggressive to try to move up to the top of round 2 to get the guy at a defensive position need they absolutely want, or are they patient? Because I just rattled off 4 names there. And it's unlikely that all 4 corners are going to come off the board in the first 10 picks of round 2. The Saints also need edge rushers. Now, Matt Miller from ESPN.com has a day 2 mock draft. He mocks every pick for rounds 2 and 3, and he's got the Saints at 42 taking Cassius Howell, the edge from Texas A&M. Now, if you're able to take Cassius Howell at 42, who had 11.5 sacks this last year at Texas A&M, then I'd be over the moon. I mean, because then you would have gotten your elite level receiver in the first round, and now you would have gotten a premium athletic edge rusher at 42 overall without having to give up draft capital. And now you can sit and wait and to see what's there for you at the end of round 3, or what Ross Jackson suggested to us earlier today could be in play. Remember, the Saints have 2 fourth-round picks and 2 fifth-round picks. So there's nothing maybe to preclude this team from packaging the extra picks they have in day 3 to potentially move up in round 3 or back into round 2 to get a player they want. So there's no reason, as you sort of map it all out, why the Saints couldn't come out of today with both an edge rusher and a cornerback trading up potentially to get 2 second-round picks. They're number 42, and then potentially trading up somewhere else in round 2 to get a player that they want to make sure they leave the first 2 days with 3 players, receiver, edge rusher, corner, that are arguably their 3 biggest positions of need, all addressed with players they want. So for me, I think that would be a very appealing path for New Orleans. When this whole thing started, we looked at round 1 and the 8th pick and said they really could go 2 ways. You could get the elite level receiver and then draft corner in round 2, or you could go with the best defensive player available and make sure you got a receiver at number 42. Well, they're no longer going to be in the mix for a receiver at 42. And the names that are out there, Jeremy Bernard and some of the other receivers that are on the board that could be there at the top of round 2 after you had a little bit of a run. The Denzel Boston, who we mentioned, those aren't going to be necessarily options you wouldn't think for the Saints at 42. Maybe later in the draft you could take a flyer on a receiver, but best player available at 42, or move up if there's a player that you absolutely want to get at a position to be corner edge would make a lot of sense for New Orleans here today. I do want to talk about the LSU guys that are likely to hear their name called today, and one of them got a little bit of a curveball thrown a day ago. We'll get to that. We are brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, together we roar. You can always learn more at ololrmc.com/LSU, ololrmc.com/LSU for Our Lady of the Lake. They take care of the champions on the field and everyday champions in our communities. FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, and LSU. Together, we roar. So the LSU Tigers, speaking of, 2 players likely to hear their names called today, or I should say possibly to hear their name called today. A.J. Halsey, the safety transfer from the University of Houston, spent 1 season in Baton Rouge. He is on this Matt Miller mock draft as the 49th pick to the Minnesota Vikings. So they have him as a mid-second round pick, going 49 overall. And he wrote, "We were all stunned the Vikings didn't select a safety in round 1 after virtually every mock draft since February predicting one of them." Notes in Halsey, Minnesota would get a strong safety with 215 pounds of power, also playmaking ability that saw him pick off 10 passes in college. I love A.J. Halsey. I think he is a prospect that you would describe as a high floor, lower ceiling prospect. Like, I don't think 10 years from now you look back at A.J. Halsey and he's a perennial all-pro. He's not Caleb Downs or Kyle Hamilton or one of the best elite safeties in the NFL, but he's a guy who almost certainly is not going to be a bust. Like, he's got a very high floor. He's going to be a starting caliber player in the NFL at strong safety who can also help you on special teams. So that feels like a very safe pick for any team that needs safety help. So Halsey at 49 of the Vikings. And then a few picks later, They project Garrett Nussmeier, number 53 overall, to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the biggest surprise of round one, as people have talked about it, is what happened with the Rams taking Ty Simpson 13 overall. As a matter of fact, Sean McVay, there was a lot of video that surfaced where McVay kind of looked dismayed at the pick. And he was asked, did they tell Stafford about the pick? Here was McVay first about that.
Yeah, I did. I'll keep that between us. We'll see. He's going to compete with Stetson.
With Stetson. Remember, Stetson Bennett's still on the team. But then here was McVay ensuring everyone still that this is Matthew Stafford's team. No kidding.
Let's make one thing clear. This is Matthew's team. And you get a chance to be able to address, the backup quarterback. We've got Stetson. We've talked about the importance of Jimmy. So to be able to add somebody that you can evaluate a body of work where he was asked to play the position and a lot of things that do translate in terms of concepts, reading with his feet, some of the different things in the drop back in the play action game, the movement game. So there's a lot of things that Coach Grubb did that's very similar to kind of how we operate. So it made it an easier evaluation to be able to kind of say, all right, what would that look like if you did translate it to our level?
I think that is a brutal pick. And it's not necessarily because I think Ty Simpson's a bad player or will never amount to anything in the NFL. He certainly could. It's a brutal pick because Matthew Stafford is the reigning NFL MVP. You have the reigning NFL MVP on your team. You have the 13th pick of the draft. Select a player that's going to help the 37-year-old reigning MVP try to win another championship. Ty Simpson does not help you win another championship this year. You can always address quarterback in the future. It goes to show where we started the show today, where we were talking about risk-reward, right? Risk tolerance. And Mickey Loomis has a high risk tolerance. This is a really gutless pick by the Rams because you effectively said, yeah, we're thinking about the future, not the now, even though we have the reigning MVP. I mean, the Saints spent a decade in ultra win now mode with Drew Brees. And you can say what you want because it didn't work. Like they didn't get to a Super Bowl and win another one. They got really close. They had some awful playoff luck and some of the worst playoff losses ever. But they were going for it. And I can certainly respect that. I mean, if you're not playing to win a championship, what are you doing? And the Rams have the hardest piece of the puzzle figured out with Matthew Stafford having the NFL MVP quarterback. Build around your quarterback. Don't go get a backup quarterback who might play for you in a few years. Anyway, but we had talked a lot pre-draft about Garrett Nussmeier being a potential day two fit to the Rams, which would have made an awful lot of sense. The Rams could have gotten whatever they needed at the top of round one, and then they could have used a day two pick on Garrett Nussmeier, and that'd be a great fit in that offense. Well, now they've taken Ty Simpson, so that's off the board. I would actually argue the next best opportunity for Garrett Nussmeier would be the Steelers. Stable organization, a veteran head coach, won a Super Bowl, is familiar with his dad, Doug Nussmeier. And so you don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. My assumption is Rodgers will be back for at least another year. That would give, if Nussmeier went to the Steelers, him the opportunity to effectively take a redshirt year, wouldn't have to be thrust into things early. He could sit and watch and develop and grow. I mean, just sitting the first 9 games of the season or 8 games of the season seemed to help Tyler Shuck throughout the back half of the year. So I like it a lot if it were to come to pass that Nussmeier would go to Pittsburgh. And it wouldn't be the path that necessarily he thought or a lot of us thought when the season started, when he was a projected first-round pick. But that would be a really good landing spot if it were to play out that way. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. Thanks for hanging out with us here on this Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. The Tigers are over in Starkville. They're in the middle of the 6th inning now. It's still 7-5 with LSU hanging on. Devin Sheeran will go back out there and try to get LSU as close to home as possible. Hunt Palmer is there covering the series for LouisianaSports.net. He is suggesting that it may rain in Starkville. This is just in our LouisianaSports.net group chat. So I think that it's why they moved the game up to 3 o'clock, obviously. It was because of the threat of weather tonight in Starkville, but you're kind of hoping that game would get in, and you'd hate to burn Devin Sheeran and not get him across the finish line. But depending on how that weather looks, it may not get there, at least not in the immediacy. So right now, LSU is leading 7-5. They're in the middle of the sixth with the Tigers and the Bulldogs in Starkville. Okay, let me knock out a quick break, and we'll continue. Stay with us. It's AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Glow Resources, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions. If you need to hire, you need Glow Resources. glowresources.com, glowresources.com. And you might be saying, well, hire what? Hire anything. They could certainly help you find skilled blue-collar labor. That's their specialty. But maybe you need their professional placement division, which is any type of office job, from the office assistant up to the C-suite. If you're having trouble finding those permanent solutions, not temp staffing, there's not temp labor, these are permanent solutions. If you're having trouble finding those permanent solutions, let Glow Resources help. They conduct some 50 interviews a day. That's roughly 15,000 interviews over the course of a year. They're experts at knowing the right questions to ask to find the right people for your job that will last. Start online today at glowresources.com. G-L-O, glowresources.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
It's not easy to be a champion.
It's built from every swing, pitch, and game all season long. In the grind, the focus,
and in the recovery.
FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake experts provide best-in-class care for our state's world-class athletes, because it takes a champion to care for champions.
I trust the lake to keep me at my best.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates, we know each case and client are unique and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
All right, we continue here. Hour 3, a couple of segments to go. If you are so inclined, shoot me a email, tweet, text. What you would like to see the Saints do at 42? I was watching the draft last night, and when Carnell Tate went off the board at 4, I tweeted, "All right, Saints fans, like, who do you want, Delane or Tyson?" And my mentions get flooded with people like, "Oh, the Chiefs traded up. They're taking Mansour Delane." And I get it. That's fine. Like, if you want to be that guy, you could be that guy. But I still think it's sometimes in life, living in the moment is worth doing and having the genuine feeling of surprise. And I don't mean to be like the old guy shouting at the clouds, but like that felt like a very, it felt very try-hard from all the people who were like so quick to comment on Twitter that the trade had already been made. Like, I don't care that you're following ahead on the draft books or you follow whoever's like tweeting that. Like, I like to watch the draft and hear the announcement and the genuine reaction that comes along with it. Maybe I'm just on an island by myself. I kind of feel like that right now because there's water right there, a little bit of a landmass. There's nobody else up here right now because the tournament's ended and they kicked everybody out. But nonetheless, I'm going to watch the draft, and I'm probably just not going to be on Twitter at all this weekend because I don't want all your spoilers. So I'm going to enjoy the draft, and I would encourage you to do the exact same thing. Saints took Jordyn Tyson, as we know, with the 8th overall pick. Both Jordyn Tyson and Kellen Moore met with reporters afterwards. And Kellen Moore actually finished up his press conference by talking about how much he likes day 2 of the draft.
This is the fun part. Yeah, the first day you get one pick. It's very exciting, but then we get and sit there and watch all these things happen. And so, we're continuing to build. We got a number of acquisitions to make over the next couple of days, and this is about building a team, and this will be a lot of fun.
So I mentioned that Matt Miller over at ESPN has his mock draft for day 2, so rounds 2 and 3, and we talked about the LSU guys a bit ago. Now he has the Saints making both of their picks, and at 42, he has them taking the edge rusher Cassius Howell from Texas A&M. And then with the 3rd round pick, which is number 73 overall, he's got the Saints going defense again with Kyle Lewis, a linebacker from Pitt. He's 6'1", 220. He's out of New Jersey. Had 43 tackles this past season, 3 sacks, and that would obviously be a replacement for Demario Davis, given you just watched Demario Davis walk in free agency, which is devastating to me. And while there's part of me that is a little excited to see what Danny Stutzman can do, a guy who you drafted a year ago out of Oklahoma and earned more reps as his rookie season went along, earned more snaps. I'm still completely devastated that Demario Davis isn't a member of the Saints anymore for all the reasons we've talked about ad nauseum, but you do still need linebacker depth. So we have spent a good bit of time talking about what the Saints need in this draft. And we've focused so heavily on receiver, corner, edge that where they find depth in days 2 and 3, I think will also be interesting because the 2 other positions, I would say if you're putting them in tiers, the top tier or like musts are the ones we just mentioned. Like you had to get a receiver and you have to get a corner because you saw Lante Taylor walk. Like you have to replace bodies there. And then, next I would say edge rusher because very likely Cam Jordan's going to go. But I would also say that next tier is linebacker replacing Demario Davis and very likely an interior offensive lineman and also a running back, if, in fact, you plan on replacing Alvin Kamara. Because remember, they restructured Alvin Kamara's contract this offseason with a very clear eye on him not being on the team post-June 1. So that still remains a very real possibility if the Saints are able to go find a running back somewhere in the draft. So, yes, I think linebacker, interior offensive line, and running back would be the other three positions that I'm keeping an eye on. Now, Ross Jackson mentioned tight end, and I do understand that because Foster Moreau is no longer on the team, and it's very unlikely that Taysom Hill is back, although I would throw an asterisk around Taysom anyway because he wasn't your prototypical tight end. You do still have Juwan Johnson, who's your second leading receiver a year ago, but if you want a more prototypical tight end, you could potentially seek that as well here in the remainder of the draft. So, just a few things to keep an eye on here as the draft resumes. But I think the biggest storyline with the resumption of the draft is going to be, do we see the teams that many thought could go after a quarterback? Arizona, Pittsburgh. Did they go quarterbacks at the top of round 2? Do you see movement at the top of round 2? Carson Beck has been rumored. Could Garrett Nussmeier jump up as well? Those are very real conversations at the top of round 2. The potential trades at the top of round 2 as the draft resumes here shortly will be a real conversation as well. So those are the things that we'll be keeping an eye on here as day 2 of the draft will move through. So Saints have 2 picks scheduled here for day 2 of the draft, 1 in round 2, 1 in round 3. And then they will have 5 picks for day 3 of the NFL draft. But I would make the assumption, as we've talked about a good bit, that New Orleans is very likely, and we know Mickey Loomis's history, but they're very likely to package picks and move up at some point in this draft. I just don't know that as I look at this roster, if they have a need to draft 8 players after drafting 9 last year, because you don't have that many roster spots. And the thought would be, why use the draft capital to select 8 players knowing it's unlikely those 8 players are going to make your team, when you could maybe package picks, select 5 players that you have a high grade on that are all very likely to make the team and be impact guys. That feels like a better probability of success for this draft. Now, a year ago, the Saints made all 9 picks and, they needed everything. So it's a little bit of a moving target, but a different field this year as opposed to a year ago. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We got 1 segment to go here from Zurich, and as we're down the stretch. So hit me up with what you'd like to see the Saints do. Email me, tweet me, text me. You can text 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways that you get involved in the show. We'll also get one final check-in before we bounce out of here on LSU and Mississippi State over in Starkville. As at last check, the Tigers were leading 7-5, but weather was moving on into the area there in Starkville. Devin Sheeran was on the mound for the Tigers. So hopefully, the Tigers are able to get this one across the finish line, even if it's delayed here. But a good start for the Tigers so far, up 7-5 right now. As a matter of fact, hang on, I'll refresh. Doesn't want to cooperate. All right, we'll get an update on it. It's after further review. We'll come back and wrap up the show next from the Zurich Classic.
AFR.
Today's show is brought to you by Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Get Gordon and get it done. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Hey, remember, you got a few days left here. It's the 24th, so you got right at a week left to enter for the Gordon's Grads laptop giveaway. So every year around high school graduation time, Gordon gives away 15 laptops or MacBooks to graduating Louisiana high school seniors that are going to either 2 or 4 year college or trade school. So if that's you or someone in your family, maybe a son, daughter, niece, nephew, grandson, granddaughter, neighbor, if you know a graduating Louisiana high school senior, you want to help them get that leg up as they move on into the next phase of life, Gordon wants to help them do it. And all you got to do is go to gordonsgrads.com to get all the info on how you can enter. gordonsgrads.com. gordonsgrads.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
Every ounce of Raising Cane's lemonade has been hand-squeezed that day from fresh lemons before being served over our signature crushed ice. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, Our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
At Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer, we know hard work starts with the right equipment. Right now, take advantage of the powerful 3025E tractor with loader for just $297 a month, with 0% financing for 72 months. Whether you're tackling land, property, or projects, this is the tractor built to get it done. Don't wait. This offer ends April 30th, 2026. Visit sunequip.com or stop by a Sunshine location today.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Been a great day here from the walk-ons tent, 17 green at the Zurich Classic. TPC of Louisiana down here in Avondale on the West Bank. Just beautiful weather, an awesome day. So much fun to be down here every year on this day. So thanks for hanging out with us on this Friday, and highly encourage you, man, if you have an opportunity, get down here with your family. It's great for a couple's day. It's great for for dads and sons, or moms and daughters, or dads and daughters, or couples, or a guy's trip, or whatever. Clients, there's something for everyone here. So get on down to the Zurich this weekend if you've never been, or if it's been a while since you've been. Make it a plan to get down here. Mississippi State has tied the game against LSU. They're tied at 7 now in the bottom of the 6th. Sheeran's still in the ball game. There's 2 on and 2 out. And it's just a bummer if LSU isn't able to get this one across the finish line, at one point having a 4-run lead. But Tomas Valinkis lasted only 3 2/3. His previous shortest outing was 5 1/3 against Hofstra in the opener and against Virginia Tech in week 3. And those were really just he didn't allow a run against Hofstra, and he allowed 2 against Virginia Tech in that 5 1/3, just early in the season when it was still cold. You look at his SEC outing, 7 innings against Arkansas, 7 against Vanderbilt, 5 against Ole Miss, where it was 5 scoreless. Went 7 1/3 against Georgia, 6 innings against Tennessee, and then 6 2/3 against South Carolina. So this is by far the shortest outing that he's had in SEC play. So, LSU on a day where they were whole staffing it after Casey Evans was a late scratch to get Valinkis out of the game early, and to not be able to hang on after having the early lead is disappointing. So it's not over again, but it is tied now. So they're brand new, knotted up at 7. It's going to be It's going to be up to the LSU bullpen to throw up a few zeros and for the offense to really get going as well. You know, you look at the box score in this game, LSU just hasn't been able to throw up clean innings. So they threw up a 0 in the second. Looking for the box score, sorry. They threw up a 0 in the second, but other than that, State scored 2 in the first, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, now 2 in the sixth. So the inability throw up a 0 is just put LSU in a tough spot. Tigers have put up a few crooked numbers, 2 threes out there, and a solo homer from Cerna in the third. That's how LSU's got to 7. So 7 runs on 10 hits for the Tigers, 7 runs on 7 hits for Mississippi State, 3 errors for the Bulldogs, 1 for LSU. So hopefully the Tigers can get going offensively and find a few more outs and finish that game. Draft is about to resume. One other thing we haven't talked about, obviously, is we've talked about day 2 with the very likely possibility of the likelihood of Nussmeier and A.J. Halsey hearing their name called here on day 2 of the draft. Is the other LSU Tigers who might very well be picked. And it's going to be, I think, an interesting it's going to be an interesting weekend to see how NFL teams value these LSU players because, like, for example, I think the receivers for me are the most interesting because you have 4 guys that could all be drafted. Xavier Thomas, Berrien Brown, Aaron Anderson, and Chris Hilton. And, you know, Chris Hilton could certainly be drafted because by the time you get to the end of day 3, teams pick on, a lot of times, on potential and a guy that they maybe like, but they don't necessarily think that player may pick them as an undrafted free agent because as a UDFA, the player gets to pick their team. They're a free agent. Well, if a team likes Chris Hilton and likes his skill set and his speed and his leadership and his ability to play special teams, maybe you take. I remember James Wright from LSU. James Wright was a 7th-round pick, didn't catch a pass in his final season at LSU, so that can happen. So Xavier, Berrien Brown, Aaron Anderson, Chris Hilton. Then you look at a lot of the defensive players, which are really interesting to me as well, like Jack Pyburn and Patrick Payton, West Weeks, and Bernard Gooden, guys that haven't really gotten a lot of conversation but have gone through the pre-draft process and did really well at Pro Day. You know, it could be a similar thing like a late day 3 flyer on some of these players to see how that may go. And then, you know, longer shots with Josh Thompson and Bauer Sharp, transfers who came in, played a year at LSU and played a lot of college football, but most likely the UDFA route. But pulling for all those guys, all the former Tigers that are hoping to hear their names called, and if it's not, it's just the start of their journey is going to be through free agency and not the draft, and we wish them all the very best. So NFL draft is going to resume here in about 5 minutes, and the Saints will be on the clock with pick 42 overall, the 10th pick of day 2. All right, y'all, that's going to do it for us here on this Friday edition of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, live from the Zurich Classic. Big thanks to Cassie on site for coming down here and getting us all set up and rolling all day. Muse and Taylor back in studio. Appreciate you guys very much as well for all the hard work. Have an awesome weekend. Let's hope LSU can go get a series win there in Starkville against Mississippi State. And we'll be back Monday talking about it on a Monday edition of AFR. We'll see you then.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, we remind you about the Williamson Eye Center. Call 924-2020, 924-2020. You want to see 2020? Call 924-2020. Dr. Blake Williamson and his staff do an awesome job. No matter what your age or refractive issue is, Dr. Blake Williamson has a solution for you. It just takes, for so many of us, the push, that urging, that confidence to make that initial call. And I say it every day when I get to talk about the Williamson Eye Center because I can speak about it passionately because I was that guy for so long. I was a guy who started wearing glasses in the 6th grade, contacts in the 8th grade, had them forever. Did the stupid thing where I'd sleep in my contacts so the lazy didn't want to take them out. And they'd just meld to your eye. It was just, finally I got to the point where I went and saw Dr. Blake Williamson and he gave me so much comfort in the process and I could not be happier. Change your life. WilliamsonEye.com.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit LouisianaPropane.com.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Everything you need for a stunning garden is at the Plant Barn in Baton Rouge. From trees and shrubs to plants and pottery, the Plant Barn has it all at great prices. Visit us today on Valley Street, right off Perkins Road in South Downs.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 25 Jeep Grand Cherokee with $15,000 off MSRP.
Plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.